Chapter 245. Tang Tang hadn't woken up yet, but her complexion was much better than before. She was still sleeping soundly. According to the Elder Heaven Ancestor, she should be in the process of detoxification. She would be fine once all the toxins in her body were expelled. Xiaoqun was relieved to see that Tang Tang was fine. After leaving Tang Tang's room, Xiaoqun glanced at the time and ran in the direction of the antique street. Today was the school's physical examination day, and Xiaoqun didn't want to waste any time. It didn't matter to him whether it was a physical examination or not. At the same time, in the Little Hong drugstore, the shopkeeper of the Songning branch of the Hong Chamber of Commerce, Qi Muqing, was standing respectfully in front of Hong Zhu. "Miss Zhu, this is what you asked me to investigate." As he spoke, Tai Muqing handed a stack of papers to Hong Zhu. "Thank you for your hard work, Uncle Tai." Hong Zhu nodded, took the papers and looked through them carefully. If Xiaoqun was here, he would definitely be very surprised because the content of the information was actually about Xiaoqun. It could be said that all the information about Xiaoqun from his birth to the present was on it. However, Hong Zhu was a little disappointed when she finished looking through it. The information was basically the same as what she had seen before. There was nothing useful at all. It was written that Xiaoqun was a good-for-nothing, but was the Xiaoqun she knew a good-for-nothing? Seeing Hong Zhu frown, Tai Muqing's heart suddenly tightened. "Miss Zhu, is there something wrong? Uncle Tai, is there any more in-depth information? For example, what did Xiaoqun do every day? What happened? Can you find someone to find out?" Hong Zhu asked. "Yes, but only in the near future," Tai Muqing said. Tai Muqing said, "We won't be able to find out anything further than that. At most, we can find out what happened after Xiaoqun was chased out of the Xiao clan." "That's fine too." Hong Zhu nodded. Suddenly his expression changed. He looked at Gu Muqing with some seriousness and said, "Gu Muqing, are you the person in charge of the Hong Ying Group's Songning branch?" Tai Muqing was taken aback at first, because Hong Zhu had addressed him as Uncle Tai before this. Even if Hong Zhu's status was there, he, Tai Muqing, was also an elder of the Hong clan. As a junior, Hong Zhu could not directly address him by his name. This was the most basic form of respect and politeness. However, even though Tai Muqing was a little uncomfortable, he did not voice it out. However, when he heard the latter half of Hong Zhu's words, his heart immediately shivered. The Hong Ying Group was the most mysterious organization in the Hong Clan Merchant Association. It was similar to an intelligence organization and a supervisory organization. The intelligence organization was responsible for gathering information on cultivators from all over the world and sending it to the headquarters of the Hong clan. For example, where a peerless genius had appeared or where a new family had risen, these were all things that the Hong family needed to know. As the largest merchant association that supplied cultivation materials, the Hong family had been able to stand tall for thousands of years because they had their own capabilities. Secretly befriending newcomers and families with potential was an important job. Back then, if it was not for the fact that Hong Zhong, who was currently in charge of this branch of the Hong clan, had befriended a newcomer with potential, the Hong family would have truly become history. However, Hong Zhong had relied on their friendship to invite that newcomer, who had already become the #1 in the world, to help out. Only then were the difficulties resolved. Therefore, befriending newcomers with potential also became part of the training of the Hong Clan Merchant Association. The Hong Ying Group was in charge of this mission. As for the supervisory duty, it was to monitor the accounts of the Hong Clan Merchant Association and prevent anyone from stuffing their own pockets. Usually, only one shopkeeper would be selected by the Hong Ying Group out of many branches. This person was undoubtedly the most loyal to the Hong clan. Only those who were loyal to the Hong clan were qualified for this responsibility. In fact, Tai Muqing had known about Hong Zhu stuffing his own pockets previously, but he had cooperated. This was actually because of his loyalty to the Hong clan. Hong Zhu was this generation's direct descendant of the Hong clan. Treating her was equivalent to treating the Hong clan. Therefore, Tai Muqing had not reported this matter to the higher-ups. However, now that Hong Zhu had pointed out his identity, Tai Muqing was extremely shocked. Apart from the current chairman of the Hong Clan Merchant Association, who was also the head of the Hong family, only the leader of the Hong Ying Group, Hong Ying, knew about this identity. Even the members of Hong Ying's team didn't know. They only got in touch with Hong Ying through special channels. Moreover, these people rarely saw Hong Ying's real face. They only knew that Hong Ying was an outstanding descendant of the Hong family that the president had specially nurtured all these years. However, it was a little strange that Hong Zhu knew about this matter. Although Tai Muqing also knew that Hong Yen and Hong Zhu were the granddaughters that the chairman doted on the most, There were not many descendants of the Hong clan who were allowed to enter and leave the secular city. Hong Yin and Hong Zhu were exceptions. I know about the matter of the shopkeeper of the Boundless Province branch secretly colluding with the supplier, Hong Zhu said indifferently. Continue to collect evidence. Tai Muching, you've done well. Ah. Tai Muching was completely stunned. His entire body trembled, then he immediately knelt on one knee and said respectfully, "Subordinate Tai Muching greets Hong Ying." Get up. Hong Zhu waved his hand. In front of outsiders you are still Uncle Tai. This subordinate understands. This time Tai Muching did not have the slightest bit of dissatisfaction. Regardless of whether Hong Zhu was his backer or not, he was Hong Ying, which meant that he was his immediate superior. When it came to Hong Ying, all of them were extremely respectful. Xiao Qin, list him as an important person to befriend and observe, Hong Zhu said to Tai Muching as he placed the information in his hands on the table. Yes. Tai Muching was a little puzzled. What did this Xiao Qin do to deserve this? Previously, he had thought that it was already very impressive for him to attract Miss Zhu's attention. He had not expected that he had attracted Hong Ying's attention instead. Furthermore, being listed as an important person to befriend and observe meant that the treatment that Xiao Qin enjoyed in the Warrior Guild and the Warrior City Square would immediately be upgraded to a VIP member. Of course, this also needed to be done step by step and at the right time. If he suddenly went to Xiao Qin and said, "I am Qi Muching, the shopkeeper of the Songning branch of the Hong Chamber of Commerce, I will give you a VIP membership card," then Xiao Qin would definitely think that he was either crazy or a swindler, or that he was plotting something. Do as you see fit. Hong Zhu suddenly recalled that Xiao Qin had been humiliated by Qin Iotaphore when he was buying medicine. He suddenly asked, "What about this Qin Iotaphore?" Qin Iotaphore? Qi Muching was stunned for a moment before he remembered who it was. If he had not been investigating Xiao Qin recently, he would not have paid attention to who Qin Iotaphore was. This person is the son-in-law of the Sun family in a neighboring city. However, I heard that he had contracted horse stroke and died last night. Although it was a little inelegant to say that he was on horseback to Miss Zhu, Tai Muching recalled that Hong Zhu's other identity was Hong Ying, so he didn't mind it at all. He had also handed over the photos of some of the suppliers who had been caught bribing the branch managers to Hong Ying. He reckoned that Hong Ying had already gotten used to it. Horse stroke, huh? What a strange way to die. Hong Zhu was stunned. She had long known that Qin Iotaphore was going to die, but she did not know exactly how he had died. Now that she heard Qi Muching say this, she felt that it was rather strange. Speaking of which, it is strange. 3 people from the Sun family have already died, and they were all killed by horse stroke. After paying attention to Qin Iotaphore, Tai Muching also paid attention to the Sun family. This was already a habit of his after so many years of intelligence work. Oh, 3 people died? This thing is contagious? Hong Zhu was even more surprised. What happened? Can you tell me? Yes. Tai Muching nodded, cleared his throat, and told Hong Zhu about what had happened to the Sun family during this period of time. That's strange. Then you should investigate how these 3 people died. This is the first time I've heard that horse stroke can be contagious. It's most likely that someone did something underhanded. Hong Zhu said, "It can actually cause people to die by horse stroke." How awesome. Which demonic sex technique is this? Yes, this subordinate understands. Tai Muching responded. Alright, you can go back. This Sun family is too unlucky. Don't do business with them in the future. Hong Zhu's casual words had caused the Sun family to die. Alright, I'll go back and pass down the instructions. Tai Muching nodded. If Hong Zhu had spoken to Tai Muching with her identity as Miss Zhu, Tai Muching would definitely not have agreed. However, under the circumstances that it did not violate her choice, Tai Muching would not object to letting Hong Zhu earn some money. After all, it would not harm the interests of the Warrior Guild. Regardless of whether it was stolen goods or not, the value of the goods was there, and the Warrior Guild would not suffer a loss. However, stopping suppliers from supplying goods involved their interests. Even if Hong Zhu was a member of the Hong family, it would not be allowed, because she could not represent the Hong family. However, Hong Ying was different. Actually, everyone understood that the core figure of the Hong family was President Hong. Although the other vice presidents were also very powerful and impressive, the one with the most authority was none other than Hong Ying, the head of intelligence who had the power to monitor life and death. Hong Ying had spoken. There was a problem with the supplier, and Tai Muching had to carry it out unconditionally. After sending Tai Muching off, Hong Zhu yawned and returned to her previous lazy and seductive appearance. She supported her chin with one hand and read a book in boredom. Xiaochen, oh Xiaochen, you've really hidden yourself well. I didn't find anything even after investigating you again. Which sect are you a disciple of? Chinayafu's hoarse stroke. Don't tell me you're the one who caused it? Previously Hongzhu did not suspect anything. She only thought that Xiaochen could see the black aura on Chinayafu's forehead like her. However, ever since she found out about the conflict between Xiaochen and Chinayafu at the entrance of the warriors' market, Hongzhu suspected that it might be that brat Xiaochen's doing. Otherwise, with Xiaochen's strength, would he be able to tolerate being stepped on like that without retaliating? She then thought about what Xiaochen said last night. He mocked Chinayafu for being very useful, but he also told him to be careful and that he might die if he used it too much. Chapter 246. At first, Hongzhu thought it was a joke because she couldn't tell how Chinayotafor would die, but Xiaochen knew. Even if Xiaochen could see the black gas, he couldn't predict it so accurately. Therefore this guy was the biggest suspect. You are my little Hongzhu, no matter how smart you are, it's never too much. Hongzhu found that she had sorted out some of the clues and happily hummed a little song. She found that she was really more and more interested in Xiaochen. Originally, the purpose of coming here was very simple, but now she seemed to be able to discover more things. Xiaochen ran to the antique street. Not only were there all kinds of antiques, but there were also all kinds of jade wares for sale. Generally, precious jade wares wouldn't be sold in bulk at the counter of the shopping mall. They were all sold here as treasures. The antique street opened very early. It was the custom of Songning City to open early and close early. Every antique market had its own customs, and some places liked to have night markets. Xiaochen walked from shop to shop. There were many antiques here. Although there were also jade wares in antique shops, there were very few that Xiaochen needed. In addition, although some of the jade wares were well made, they were actually fakes. They could deceive people who didn't know the industry, but Xiaochen just touched them casually and stopped looking. There was no spiritual energy in them. This kind of goods, even if it was the real one, Xiaochen wouldn't need it, not to mention it was fake. Although the spiritual energy in the real jade wares was extremely low, Xiaochen could still feel it. However, there was no trace of fake jade wares. There were a few jade shops on the antique street, but after Xiaochen went in, he didn't see any jade wares that he liked. Sure enough, as the Elder Heaven Ancestor said, it was really difficult to find jade full of spiritual energy, let alone ordinary jade wares. This was the last jade artifact shop. Xiaochen walked out with some disappointment. These jade artifacts were not spirit jades. At the very least, they were not spirit jades on display at the moment. It seems that I have to go to more advanced places in the future, Xiaochen thought. As he was about to leave, Xiaochen suddenly felt someone patting him from behind. He looked back and saw a middle-aged man with a somewhat shrewd appearance. What's the matter? Xiaochen looked at the person in front of him. He didn't know the person in front of him. Little brother, do you want to buy jade? The shrewd man asked in a low voice. How do you know? Xiaochen frowned and asked. Little brother, I've been observing you for a long time. You obviously didn't come here to look at the jade wares. You don't have the patience to look at the jade wares. So, you must want to buy it, but you haven't found the one you like. Am I right? The shrewd man saw these customers very accurately and hit the nail on the head. You're right, but who are you? Xiaochen looked at the man and asked with some vigilance. You can call me Old Wu. I'm the owner of the Zhenzhen boutique over there. The shrewd man was the owner of the Zhenzhen boutique, Wang Wei. However, Wang Wei was his name in secret. In this antique street, his identity was Old Wu. Zhenzhen boutique? Xiaochen glanced at the direction that Wang Wei was pointing at and suddenly lost interest. He turned around and was about to leave. Hey little brother, don't go. Wang Wei grabbed Xiaochen. What? Don't you know what kind of goods you have? I don't beat around the bush. I've been to so many shops. Do you think I'm a rookie who doesn't know anything? Xiaochen rolled his eyes. Most of the jade wares in this Zhenzhen boutique were fake. There was no spiritual qi in them. They might be able to fool others, but not Xiaochen. Haha, I told you little brother, you know your stuff. When Wang Wei heard Xiaochen's words, he didn't get angry. Instead he laughed. I can't fool you. Little brother, you look like an expert. How can I fool you? Xiaochen stopped. You have good stuff? I definitely have good stuff, but it depends on whether little brother dares to take it. Wang Wei said mysteriously. What do you mean? Is there a problem with the source? Xiaochen suddenly thought of this situation because he had just robbed the Sun family's cart of medicinal herbs. It's from a tomb raider. Wang Wei lowered his voice. Can I take a look? Lead the way. Xiaochen nodded immediately. Wang Wei was very good at reading people. He knew clearly who really wanted to buy things and who was pretending. In his opinion, Xiaochen was a customer who really knew his stuff. It just so happened that Wang Wei had a few pieces of good stuff in his hands. However, they were antiques from tomb raiding, so it wasn't easy to sell them. He could only sell them to people who really wanted them and knew their stuff. After entering Jinjin Boutique, Wang Wei brought Xiaochen to a private room upstairs. Then he poured a cup of tea for Xiaochen and said, "Little brother, wait a moment. I'll go get it." Xiaochen nodded. He picked up the teacup and sniffed it. He asked in his heart, "Elder Heaven Ancestor, is there a problem with this tea?" "I don't think there's a problem. Why don't you try it?" Elder Heaven Ancestor said. "Forget it." Hearing Elder Heaven Ancestor's tone, he wasn't sure, so Xiaochen didn't want to take the risk. However, after a while Wang Wei came back with a small box in his hand. He placed it directly on the coffee table in front of Xiaochen, opened it and said, "Little brother, please have a look." Wang Wei was also a martial artist, so he wasn't worried that someone would rob him. After all, in the secular world, the frequency of martial artists appearing was still very low. Only in the martial artist's own circle would you often see martial artists. This was actually the same reason why the rich were surrounded by rich people. It was undeniable that the box was filled with good stuff. Just from the appearance, one could tell that it wasn't ordinary. Xiaochen reached out and scanned the jade in the box one by one. Finally, his eyes stopped on a jade ring. Spiritual jade. Xiaochen's heart was about to jump out at this moment. This was definitely a spiritual jade. Although the spiritual energy inside was not as high as the jade, it was already very good. Xiaochen didn't hide the fact that he wanted to buy which one he didn't want to buy. After all, everyone who could sit here and look at the goods was a sensible person. Xiaochen directly picked up the jade thumb ring and played with it in his hand. "Little brother, you have good eyesight." This jade ring, according to legend, was used by the first assistant minister of the X dynasty and the first warrior, X-Spy. Wang Wei began to explain, "This jade ring is quite difficult to get. It is said that this jade ring has the effect of aiding martial arts." "Alright, don't say so much useless stuff. Everyone here is smart. Legends and whatnot are not important. What I'm looking at is the quality." Xiaochen waved his hand impatiently and interrupted Wang Wei's words. "An item used by a dead person is extremely unlucky, and you still think it's a good thing. How much is it? Name a price." "This, 5 million. Wang Wei stretched out 5 fingers. 5 million? Xiaochen frowned. To be honest, 5 million was not a lot. Not only was it not a lot, but it was also extremely cheap. However, it also depended on how they were compared. Don't think that Xiaochen was just a playboy in the past, but he had also followed Chen Jinping to the Azure Sea Heavenly Palace before. An antique jade thumb ring was only worth 30 to 50,000. How could it be 5 million? Of course, if he bought it according to the spiritual jade, it would not be expensive. A set of medicinal herbs cost 3 million. A spiritual jade was only worth 5 million. It was really very cheap. Little brother, you are also an expert. You can tell that this is the real thing, right? Wang Wei looked at Xiaochen's expression and said with some uncertainty, "The real thing? Shame on you. Do you think I'm a big shot?" Xiaochen slammed the jade ring on the coffee table. He was not afraid of breaking it. He sneered and said, "A jade ring is worth 30 to 50,000. This 5 million is 100 times more. Is it gold-rimmed or imported from Mars?" Wang Wei smiled bitterly. He knew that he had met an expert. He could only explain, an ordinary jade ring is naturally only worth 30 to 50,000. However, look at the jade rings used by ancient emperors. There are even those that are sold for tens of millions. This was used by a minister. 5 million is not a high price, right? Do you have an appraisal report? Do you have an expert to verify it? Do you think I will believe you just because you tell me? Buying illegal goods is just a gamble. I can buy it at an auction with this price." Xiaochen waved his hand and said, "I'll give you 1 million. Sell it or not." "This, 2 million. Little brother, isn't your bargaining a bit too much?" Wang Wei smiled bitterly. "Then keep it." Xiaochen stood up and prepared to leave. "Alright, I'll give it to you." In fact, in Wang Wei's opinion, 1 million was not a small amount. Illegal goods should not be exposed to the public. If it could be sold, it would be a profit. Some things should not be displayed casually and could not be appraised. Don't think that there were no fakes in ancient tombs. There were fakes in ancient times. Xiaochen swiped an anonymous bank card. After swiping, he took the jade ring and prepared to leave. "Wait, little brother." Wang Wei thought for a moment and stopped Xiaochen. "Is there anything else?" Xiaochen asked. "Little brother, do you like jade rings? If I have something similar, do you still want it?" Wang Wei asked. "Not necessarily. It depends on the color. Xiaoqun did not buy everything. It had to contain spiritual energy. It was not enough just because it looked the same. Help me keep an eye out for it. I will come back after a while. However, it doesn't have to be a jade ring. Any kind of jade is fine, but it's best if it was used by ancient masters. For example, this jade ring from the first warrior. Alright, I understand. Little brother, it turns out that you like to collect things that people used. Wang Wei nodded his head confidently. Xiaoqun did not stay for long. He quickly left the antique street and planned to go home to cultivate. Anyway, the school's physical examination might not end in the morning. He had to hurry up. Who knew when the Witch of West Mountain would appear? After running back to the villa, Xiaoqun locked himself in his room. He picked up the jade ring and began to cultivate. At the school, the physical examination had also begun. Yu Xiaoqun hid in the blood collection room excitedly and stared at the results of each test sheet. He was full of anticipation. Chapter 247. In order to see the test results as soon as possible, Yu Xiaoqun arranged for the girls to have their blood tested first, while the boys went to check other items first. The morning passed quickly and most of the girls had been checked. There was only one fat girl who looked terrible. Yu Xiaoqun slapped his forehead. Damn it, please don't let it be this one. But in his heart, he was hoping that it would be her. Anyway, he could get rid of her after using her for a while. It didn't matter if she was a little fat. As long as it wasn't Jean Bebe. If it was Jean Bebe, it would be really difficult for him. If he married her, his life would be ruined. Moreover, he couldn't get rid of her easily. It would be better to castrate himself. However, the fat girl's result was also not her, which made Yu Xiaoqun very disappointed. As expected, women with mysterious body were not so common. Not to mention a school, they might not even be found in a city. Although Yu Xiaoqun was not surprised by the result, it was still a headache to find the next step. Yu Xiaoqun didn't care about the physical examination in the afternoon. He paid the money and left the hospital. Director Su was a little confused about Yu Xiaoqun's behavior of paying the money but not having a physical examination. However, Yu Xiaoqun was so rich that he must have finished the physical examination in advance, so he didn't have to wait in line with others. Since he had nothing to do, Yu Xiaoqun planned to go to the warrior guild to see if there was any news about the woman with mysterious body. In the warrior guild, Yu Xiaoqun was familiar with medicine master Sunday. Yu Xiaoqun had asked him to make medicinal materials before, so he was an acquaintance. He had called him once because of Tang Tang. Therefore, Yu Xiaoqun went directly to Medicine Master Sun's office. Young Master Sun, you're here. Medicine Master Sun respected Yu Xiaoqun. After all, even if the Sun family became an aristocratic family, they had to maintain a good relationship with other aristocratic families. Now they had become enemies with the Chao family and the Qin family. Although Xiaoqun was no longer a member of the Xiao family, it was not very likely for him to be on good terms with the Xiao family. Yu Xiaoqun was known as the leader of the young generation and a gentleman. It would be beneficial for the Sun family's development in the future to make friends with him. Therefore, Medicine Master Sun stood up and greeted him. Haha, Medicine Master Sun, you're too kind. I'm just here to take a look. Please have a seat. Yu Xiaoqun was flattered by Medicine Master Sun's politeness. It should be known that an apothecary was very important to a clan. Although the elixirs used by cultivators could be bought in the warrior city square, they were all general-purpose medicinal herbs. With an apothecary, they could make different adjustments to different cultivators, making the elixirs more suitable for their own needs. This was also what the Sun family cultivated later on. The members of the Sun family also stepped into the ranks of martial artists to varying degrees. It was all because Medicine Master Sun concocted spirit herbs for them to temper their bodies and cultivate. Young Master Kun, are you here for Tang Tang? Medicine Master Sun thought about it and felt that he had to give Yu Xiaoqun some face. However, he was not willing to treat Xiao Chen's girlfriend. That Xiao Chen had a grudge against the Sun family. All that? Forget about it. Yu Xiaoqun waved his hand and said, I came here because I have something else to do. What is it? Tell me, young Master Kun. I'll see if I can help. Medicine Master Sun breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he did not have to treat Tang Tang and bow down to Xiao Chen, everything else would be fine. Well, I wonder if Medicine Master Sun has heard of Mysterious Woman? Yu Xiaoqun asked. Mysterious Woman? A woman with mysterious body? Medicine Master Sun was slightly stunned and said, Young Master Kun, why are you asking about this? Although women with mysterious body are rare, they are of no use to us martial artists. Moreover, women with this body are usually unlucky. Unless the man is tough, no one will touch this kind of woman. Oh, I'm just curious and want to find out. Yu Shaochuan did not care about unlucky things. Once he mastered the chrysanthemum treasure book, he would be invincible in the world. Bad luck would not matter. Women with this kind of body are hard to find. I'm afraid I can't help you with this. Medicine Master's son shook his head. This was beyond his ability. Oh. Yu Shaochuan was a little disappointed and then said, by the way, you're a medicine master, so you should know the art of medicine. Say, if I want to test the blood of some women, what's the best reason to look for them? Moreover, they won't be easily detected. Yu Shaochuan did not hide any of this. Even if he were to look for the Lady of Mysterious Een, no one would suspect anything. Just like the current medicine master's son, he could not link it to the chrysanthemum treasured book. Even if Grandfather Tang found out, he would not link it to this. Blood test? Young Master Kun, I'm not good at scheming. Medicine Master's son thought for a moment and said, if you don't mind, I can introduce you to someone from the streets. This person has some intelligence. You can ask him. All right, thank you. Yu Shaochuan nodded. Medicine Master's son picked up the phone and dialed a number. After a while, Red Hair walked in. When he saw Medicine Master's son, he said respectfully, Master. Medicine Master's son had already accepted Red Hair as an in-name disciple. Red Hair, since you have nothing to do now, follow young Master Kun for a few days. Young Master Kun needs someone with intelligence and I think you can do it. Thank you for your recommendation, Master. Red Hair will definitely do his best to assist young Master Kun. Red Hair was overjoyed. He had just lost his job and thought that he had no future. He could no longer live such a good life, and he had to return to the street to live the life of a gangster. That was really miserable. If there was no comparison, Red Hair felt that his previous life was already very free and easy. He often extorted hawkers and earned some money, but compared to now it was really child's play. Following young Master Jean and young Master Qin, not only did he have good food and drinks, but he also had women to play with, and they were all top-grade women. Unexpectedly, another young master came and accepted him as a follower. It was really not bad. Your name is Red Hair? Yu Shaochuan looked at Red Hair and asked. Young Master Kun, my name is Lu Litsao. Red Hair is my nickname. You can call me Red Hair. Red Hair nodded. Lu Litsao, this name of yours is really F***ket up. Yu Shaochuan nodded and said, okay, let me ask you. You said that I want to test the blood of some women. What is the best excuse to find them? And it's not easy to detect? Let me think about it. Red Hair was stunned. He didn't expect Yu Shaochuan to ask such a question. However, in order to make Yu Shaochuan value him, he had to answer even the most inexplicable question, and he had to do his best to answer. Therefore he thought carefully for a long time. Finally, he patted his head and said, Young Master Kun, I have one. You have one? What do you have? Yu Shaochuan was stunned by Red Hair's words. He almost spat it out. Have a child. I have an idea. Red Hair sweated. Then why aren't you saying it? Yu Shaochuan asked. Okay, young Master Kun. Let's do it this way. You see, many girls nowadays like to pursue fame and fortune. Otherwise, why would those talent shows be so popular every time? Why would so many girls sign up for the audition? Red Hair said proudly, when the time comes we can test their blood. This is reasonable. You mean that I should also organize such an event and then test their blood? What reason should I use? Also, what benefits can the first prize winner get from this event? Yu Shaochuan's eyes lit up after listening. Yes, we can plan an event. With young Master Kun's ability, it shouldn't be difficult, right? Although I still don't know young Master Kun's background, those who can befriend Master are all high-level and powerful people. Red Hair said, as for the blood test, it's very simple. Many women are very impetuous nowadays. They are promiscuous in private and use drugs. We just need to check if they have AIDS or drugs. Such people can't participate in the competition. As for the reward, young Master Kun, you can do whatever you want. Young Master Kun's family should have a family business, right? When the time comes, you can give her an endorsement contract with the family business. It's worth tens of millions. Young Master Kun should have this money, right? You're not bad. Yu Shaochuan nodded. Your idea is very feasible. Follow me from now on. You will be fully in charge of this event. When the time comes, help me with the audition. Okay, no problem. Red Hair was overjoyed. Yu Shaochuan's words meant that he accepted him. Moreover, Yu Shaochuan agreed to his suggestion without thinking. Then the Yu family's capital should be quite strong. Wait, Yu family? Could it be the aristocratic Yu family? Thinking of this, Red Hair subconsciously said, Young Master Kun, you are the Yu families? Yes, I am Yu Xiaochuan from the Yu family. Yu Xiaochuan nodded. Ah, so it really is. Young Master Kun, don't worry. I will do my best to assist you. Red Hair said as he patted his chest. As they were talking, the phone on Medicine Master Sun's table suddenly rang. Medicine Master Sun picked up the phone and only said one sentence. His expression instantly changed. What? Qin Wuxian called and wants our Sun family to give them an explanation? Medicine Master Sun frowned. This phone call was from Sun Xiaonong. He quickly said, "All right, wait for me, uncle. I will be back immediately." With that, Medicine Master Sun said to Yu Xiaochuan and Red Hair, "I have something to do, so I will leave first. Both of you can go back too." "All right, Medicine Master Sun, I won't disturb you anymore." Seeing Medicine Master Sun's expression, Yu Xiaochuan knew that he probably had something important to do. The three of them left the warriors' market together and parted ways at the entrance. Red Hair followed Yu Xiaochuan to his Audi A6L. "Young Master Kun, what should I do?" Red Hair asked after getting in the car. "And I will give you a test standard. Find the person with the most values in her blood and predetermine her as first place," Yu Xiaochuan said. Chapter 248. All right, no problem. The red-haired man quickly nodded. "Young Master Kun, are you looking for some unspoken rules?" Yu Xiaochuan nodded. This was also considered an unspoken rule. He didn't intend to explain too much to the red-haired man. When the time came, he would just draw some blood and then have intercourse with it. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it was an unspoken rule. "All right then. What about drug addiction and STDs? Do you need to test them one by one?" The red-haired man asked. "Testing those also needs to be done separately. It will take some time." "There's no need for that. It's just a formality. I'm mainly looking for women with such numbers." Yu Xiaochuan waved his hand. "All right, then I'll start tomorrow?" The red-haired man asked. "Sure, do it as soon as possible." Yu Xiaochuan nodded. Martial Godchin was actually just a warning to the Sun family that they had gone overboard. They shouldn't think that they could do whatever they wanted with the support of a pharmacist. The Qin family wasn't to be trifled with. If anything really happened to Qin Jinping, it would be a fight to the death. The Qin family's backup plan was actually in the warrior guild. After Qin Huanling arrived at the warrior guild today, he went to the warrior market to visit the shopkeeper, Tai Mucheng. Although the warrior market was built in cooperation between the warrior guild and the Hong family's commerce, only the president of the warrior guild and the shopkeeper could participate in the management. The vice president didn't have the right to interfere with the operation of the warrior market. Qin Huanling came here to discuss with Tai Mucheng, hoping that Tai Mucheng would give him some face. "Shopkeeper Tai, I've been in this position for so long, but I haven't visited you yet. I'm sorry for my lack of manners. Didn't I find an opportunity to come?" Qin Huanling's arrival surprised Tai Mucheng. Usually, the vice president and the warrior market rarely interacted. The purpose was to avoid arousing suspicion. After all, this wasn't within their jurisdiction. Only the president could interfere. "Haha, President Qin, what a rare guest. I wonder what advice you have for me?" Tai Mucheng said politely. Although they weren't subordinates, they were colleagues. He had to give Tai Mucheng some face. As for Qin Huanling, apart from Qin Jinkuan's death, it seemed that the Qin family's development was not bad. Especially the marriage with the Shen family, it would increase the Qin family's status once again. It might even become the #1 aristocratic family in Songning in the future. Therefore, the Qin family was also on Hong Ying's list. Tai Mucheng was also in charge of contacting them. "How would I dare to guide you? Shopkeeper Tai should be the one guiding me." Qin Huanling smiled and said, "Since it's like this, I won't beat around the bush. I'll get straight to the point. I came here because I have a request for Manager Tai." "Oh? What's the matter?" Gui Mucheng asked curiously. He didn't think that the Qin family would ask him for anything. With Tai Mucheng's high-level membership card, there was no need for Tai Mucheng to interfere at all. "It's like this. I heard that the Warriors Market Square is doing business with the Sun family of the neighboring city?" Qin Huanling probed. "That's right, there is such a matter." "What do you mean, President Qin?" Gui Mucheng asked calmly. "This Sun family has a low moral character. They started off by swindling people. I hope that Shopkeeper Tai won't do business with them. These people have no bottom line. Who knows if they will scam Shopkeeper Tai?" At this point, Qin Huanling paused for a moment and said, "Of course I said so much because the Sun family and our Qin family have a grudge. I hope that Shopkeeper Tai can give me some face." Qin Huanling's previous words were actually nothing more than fabrications. Although the Sun family had a low moral character, they wouldn't dare to swindle the warriors' market. They didn't have the guts to do so either. He only said all this to give Tai Muching a reason to get rid of the Sun family. Is that so? Tai Muching pretended to ponder. Actually, Tai Muching wouldn't agree so easily under normal circumstances. Even if the Qin family was one of the clans that he wanted to befriend, he still needed Hong Ying's final approval before he could make a decision. However, Hong Zhu had long since planned to get rid of the Sun family. Agreeing to Qin Huanling's request was just a small favor. After a while, he raised his head and said, "It's rare for President Qin to ask, so I'll give you some face." "Thank you, shopkeeper Tai." Qin Huanling originally thought that he would have to spend a lot of time persuading Tai Muching. Who would have thought that it would be settled with just a few words? Didn't they say that Tai Muching was selfless and wouldn't easily violate his principles? How come this time, no matter what, it was good that he agreed? Qin Huanling owed Tai Muching a favor. Since Qin Huanling's goal was achieved, he didn't stay any longer. "Then I'll take my leave, shopkeeper Tai." "All right. Take care, President Qin." Tai Muching nodded and dialed Medicine Master Sun's number. "Who is it? Spit it out if you have something to say." Medicine Master Sun was in a hurry to drive back, so he used Bluetooth to answer the call. He didn't look at the caller ID and asked impatiently, "I'm Tai Muching." Tai Muching frowned and said plainly. This Medicine Master Sun was getting more and more arrogant and despotic. If it wasn't for the fact that Medicine Master Gu was the only one left in the warriors' market, Tai Muching really wouldn't want to use him. "A shopkeeper Tai." Medicine Master Sun was shocked. He quickly stopped his car by the roadside and almost crashed into an electric pole. "The Sun family's medicinal herbs are not up to standard. Don't bring them in again in the future." Tai Muching wanted to explain, but seeing Medicine Master Sun's attitude, he couldn't be bothered to explain anymore. "Ah." Medicine Master Sun was stunned. The Sun family's supplier status was revoked? How was that possible? Medicine Master Sun had put in a lot of effort to obtain this qualification. In the end, Tai Muching's words made it disappear? Could it be because of his disrespect just now? Thinking of this, Medicine Master Sun quickly said, "I'm sorry, shopkeeper Tai. I was driving just now and didn't know it was you calling." About the Sun family's medicinal herbs. The headquarters sent someone to do a spot check. The Sun family's medicinal herbs are not up to standard. Do you understand what I mean? Tai Muching said. I understand." Medicine Master Sun felt sad. Spot check by the headquarters? That was really bad luck. Not only that, the Sun family would probably be blacklisted by the entire warriors' market. As for whether Tai Muching was spouting nonsense, it would be fine as long as they went to other warriors' market to provide the bidding documents. If they were rejected directly, they would be blacklisted. Therefore, Tai Muching wouldn't lie to him about this. This made Medicine Master Sun feel like he had fallen into an ice cellar. However, when he came back to his senses, he quickly started his car and sped toward the Sun family. This news was much more serious than Martial God Qin asking for an explanation from the Sun family. To put it bluntly, the Sun family would be finished in the future. Medicine Master Sun hurried back to the Sun family and went straight to the meeting room. At this moment, the Sun family was already seated. When Sun Xiaonong saw Medicine Master Sun, he said, "Yukai, this Qin family is too despicable. They can rob our medicinal herbs, but they want us to give an explanation when we dealt with Qin Jinping? Isn't this too much? Even the vice president of the Warriors Guild can't do this, right?" "Uncle, don't say any more. Let's put this matter aside for now. Something big happened at the Warriors Market." Medicine Master Sun waved his hand and said, "What do you mean? What happened?" Sun Xiaonong was stunned and asked. "Shopkeeper Tai of the Warriors Market just informed me that the Sun family's supplier qualification has been cancelled. They said that our goods did not pass the spot check by the headquarters." Medicine Master Sun helplessly repeated Tai Muching's words to Sun Xiaonong. How could it be so coincidental? Our medicinal herbs are not particularly bad, just a little worse than the Xie families. How could it be such a coincidence that the people from the headquarters came to do a spot check at this time? Sun Xiaonong was shocked. He stood up and cried out involuntarily. "I'm also a little puzzled, but now that things have happened, we should think of a way." Medicine Master Sun said, "I guess our Sun family will be blacklisted by the National Warriors Market. If we want to do business in the Warriors Market, it will be basically impossible." "Could it be Qin Huanling?" Sun Xiaonong suddenly said, "Only he has a grudge against our Sun family. Yesterday we just dealt with Qin Jinping, and today our supplier qualification to the Warriors Market was cancelled. Isn't this too coincidental? Indeed. Medicine Master Sun nodded after listening. Uncle, if you didn't say it, I really wouldn't have thought that Chen Huanling wanted to mess with us. It's not difficult to apply for a spot check from the headquarters through Tai Muching. This is equivalent to killing our Sun family. There's no need to think about it. It must be. Sun Xiaonong said hatefully, although our medicinal herbs are worse than the Sun family's, the Xie family's medicinal herbs are not completely qualified. Many of them are not up to standard. Why is it that only our Xie family was cancelled, but the Sun family was not? Isn't this clearly targeting us? Yes, let me ask. Medicine Master Sun took a deep breath and dialed Medicine Master Ji's number. Medicine Master Sun, what's the matter? Medicine Master Gu asked. Old Gu, do you know that the Sun family has been cancelled as a supplier? Medicine Master Sun asked. I just sent out a notice. Everyone in the Warriors Market knows about it, Medicine Master Gu said. Does anyone else besides the Sun family know about the cancellation? Medicine Master Sun asked. No, only the Sun family. The cancellation was very sudden. We don't know the reason. We only know that the Sun family's medicinal herbs are not up to standard, Medicine Master Gu said. Okay, I got it. Medicine Master Sun hung up the phone. His face was terrible. Sure enough, it was targeted at the Sun family. Fast, ruthless, and accurate. The Xie family was not affected, which meant that the spot check was just an excuse. The goal was to punish the Sun family. How is it? Sun Xiaonong asked quickly after Medicine Master Sun hung up the phone. It's only our family. The Xie family is still fine. Medicine Master Sun sighed. I'm afraid it's really the Chen family. Chapter 249. Sun Xiaonong's face also became extremely pale. It's over, it's over. Impulsiveness is the devil. If I had known, I wouldn't have done it to Chen Jinping. Sun Yuming and Sun Yoli were also somewhat silent. Previously, the Sun family was showing off, feeling good about themselves, and bursting with self-confidence. Who could have thought so far ahead? Only now did they realize that the Sun family was far from those real aristocratic families. Although the Sun family was rich, they did not have a worthy martial artist. They were bullied, but they could do nothing. Of course, although everyone was a little regretful, the urgent matter was not regret, but to think of countermeasures. What should the Sun family do in the future? They were removed from the Warriors Market, and they were hated by the Chen family. Where would they go in the future? Seeing that the Sun family was about to reach the peak of the family, from a small business family to an aristocratic family, Sun Xiaonong's original plan was very good. First, the Sun family obtained the supply share of all the Warriors Market, then earned money to hire martial artists, and then, with the help of Medicine Master Sun, let the third generation of the family embark on the road of martial arts cultivation. In this way, it would not take many years for the Sun family to surpass the Xie family. It would not be a problem to surpass the original aristocratic families, and it would not be impossible to replace the number one aristocratic family in Songning City, the Qing family. But now all of this had become a dream. The Sun family was beaten back to its original state, and they could not make a comeback. This was the most frustrating and helpless. Father, I think we are not at the end of the line. Although we can't do it now, it is only because we have offended the Qin family. What if we rely on one of the aristocratic families in Songning City? Sun Yuming was the second-generation boss after all, and his words were also very standard. He found the problem immediately. The enemy of an enemy was a friend. The aristocratic families in Songning City were not monolithic, and they were all competitors. As long as they relied on a family that had a bad relationship with the Qin family, then the Sun family might have a chance to make a comeback. Oh. Sun Xiaonong was slightly stunned. At this time, Medicine Master Sun suddenly slapped his thighs and said, Yes, our Sun family can endure hardships, pretend to rely on an aristocratic family, and then slowly accumulate strength. Maybe we can swallow that aristocratic family in one fell swoop, and then replace it as the new generation aristocratic family. Yes, Mingming and Yukai are right. Sun Xiaonong finally breathed a sigh of relief after listening. It seemed that the Sun family still had a chance. At that time, the Sun family still had hope to rise again. Father, if that's the case, we should find a family that isn't particularly strong. It would be best if it's a family that's on the decline. Otherwise, even if they don't lack us, they might not be able to value us. Not to be outdone, Sun Yoli said, moreover, if we want to replace them in the future, the other party must not be very strong. Otherwise, it will not be so easy for us to annex the main family. Good, that's a good analysis. Sun Xiaonong was very relieved. He didn't expect the Sun family to think of a countermeasure so quickly, and it was a very feasible countermeasure. Yukai, you are the pharmacist of the martial artist market square in Songning City. You have more contact with the aristocratic families in Songning City. Tell me what's their structure. Which family is weaker? Which family will we rely on to have a better future? Okay, uncle, let me think about it. Pharmacist's son took a deep breath and was lost in thought. Then he said as if he was talking to himself, the Cheng family is definitely not going to make it. Nowadays the Cheng family is like the sun in the sky. Although Qing Zhongqian has disappeared, Qing Zhongming and Qing Zhongfan are the backbone of the family. Qing Mingqiang, the third generation, is also an outstanding talent of the young generation. The Jin family? This family is a little sick. All the members of the family are a little crazy. It's better to stay away from them. That Golden Fur Lion King and his granddaughter Jin Beibei are not good people. If we cooperate with them we won't even know how we die. I'm more optimistic about the Xiao family. However, because we have a hostile relationship with the good-for-nothing of the Xiao family, Xiao Qin, I'll think about whether there are any suitable families for this family. The Chao family is definitely out of the question. With Chao Yuliang there's no need to think about it. The same goes for the Qin family. We can also exclude them. The Zhu family. Zhu Yingxiong is also Xiao Chen's younger brother. Besides, the Zhu family has suddenly become powerful. With the old ancestor of the Zhu family, they are now in the period of development. They don't need us to surrender to them. They're already thriving. The Yu family. Yu Shaochuan is known as the leader of the young generation. Besides, Yu Shaochuan is a hypocrite who is best at scheming. If we surrender to them, Yu Shaochuan may backstab us. The Tang clan, on the other hand, has some relations with me. I was the one who cured their daughter, Tang Tang. However, I didn't cure her well, nor did I cure her badly. She became a fatty. However, the only problem now is that the Yu clan and the Tang clan haven't officially signed the marriage contract. The relationship between the two clans is also very ambiguous. Although the Tang clan can't be said to be thriving day by day, they haven't regressed either. And our biggest advantage is business, but the Tang family has their own business channels which are also very complete. If we go, it will only be the icing on the cake. We won't be valued. The Lu family is an underworld family. It's best not to get involved with this kind of family. Otherwise you might get into trouble and be annexed by others. You can't do anything about this kind of family being unreasonable. The rest are the Zheng family of the former Zheng's martial arts school, and the Shin family and Qi family in Songning City. But the Shin family and the Qi family are big and don't care about us at all. And the Zheng family is no longer an aristocratic family. Even if we replace them it's useless and they can't protect the Sun family. So, after thinking about it, only the Xiao family is the most suitable? After listening to Sun Yotsai's analysis, Sun Xiaonong frowned. Yes, in fact, in my mind, the most ideal family is the Xiao family. What? Uncle, listen to my analysis slowly. Sun Yukai nodded and said, right now the Xiao family is a family that is going downhill. Before, the Xiao family was one of the top 5 aristocratic families. But since the second generation Xiao Feng disappeared, the Xiao family Xiao Chen was kicked out of the family. What does the Xiao family have? Although Xiao Hai's strength is not bad, he is only a stage 7 inner force warrior. And he is still a daughter. When the time comes he will be married off. It can be said that the Xiao family will be extinct in the future. And most importantly, the Xiao family's business has just started, and it is supported by Xiao Hai alone. In the past, there was Xiao Feng to share the family's affairs, so Xiao Hai could still concentrate on the business. Now he has to manage the family's affairs and business. Moreover, I also know a big secret, that is, Xiao Yuanshan won't be able to live for long. What? Medicine Master Sun's words shocked Sun Xiaonong. Isn't Xiao Yuanshan a stage 9 inner force warrior? How come he won't be able to live for long? Logically speaking, when a warrior reaches stage 8 inner force, it is not as simple as just improving their strength. Once their inner force reaches stage 8 inner force, their lifespan will also increase. It is very easy to live to 100 years old. And Xiao Yuanshan is only in his 60s. Why is he dying? Others don't know but I know. Because he asked me an old good to treat him. Medicine Master Sun laughed evilly and said, of course, this is a secret of the warrior market. If you are not one of us I will not casually say it. This concerns the reputation of the warrior market, and this is a matter of life and death for our Sun family. Even if I say it, you have to keep it a secret. Okay. Sun Xiaonong glanced at the people present. Other than Sun Yukai there was Sun Yuming and Sun Yoli. Sun Yumao was sad about Chen Iotafor's accidental death, so he did not attend the meeting. Don't worry, father. Brother Yukai, we will not say anything. Sun Yuming and Sun Yuli quickly said. And actually, Xiao Yuanshan was poisoned by a kind of poison. This kind of poison isn't a big deal normally, but when you cultivate, you will feel a tightness in your chest and your strength will slowly decrease. I reckon that Xiao Yuanshan is already a stage 7 inner strength martial artist. Once he drops down from a stage 1 inner strength martial artist, he won't be far from death, unless a deity can save him. Medicine Master Sun said, this poison is very overbearing and there is no antidote. At least, Medicine Master Gu and I have no solution. Oh, this is good news. Xiao family is going downhill, but if Xiao Yuanshan dies, will Xiao Qin take over? If Xiao Qin comes back to take over, we still can't swallow up Xiao family. Sun Xiaonong asked. Xiao Qin? A good for nothing. If Xiao Yuanshan dies with Xiao Hai's intellect, killing them is just a matter of minutes. Medicine Master Sun said with disdain, don't forget what I do. Poison Xiao Hai, and after he dies we will deal with Xiao Qin. At that time the great Xiao family will belong to our Sun family, and our Sun family can rise again. At that time we will replace the Xiao family, and we will not be afraid of the Qin family or the Qiao family. We are also one of the 4 big and 5 small families. What can they do to us? Even the warriors' market will have to re-evaluate our strength. Yes, what you said makes sense. Sun Xiaonong slowly nodded. Famous, beneficial, what do you think? How about we go and surrender to the Xiao family? I agree. Sun Yuming listened to Sun Yotsai's analysis and felt that it was very reliable. What we are lacking now is Xiao Chen's side. What if the Xiao family doesn't accept us because of Xiao Chen? Sun Yuli said with some worry. This is not very likely. First, Xiao Chen has been kicked out of the Xiao family, and his matters have nothing to do with the Xiao family. I don't think his life or death has much to do with the Xiao family. Second, the people who have conflicts with Xiao Chen are Sun Rongjin, Sun Rongqin, and Chen Iofo. They are already dead, and the rest of the Sun family has no hatred with Xiao Chen, right? Sun Yukai said. Chapter 250. Alright, since there's no problem, then it's settled. However, we still need you to take care of this matter. Only you can get in touch with the Xiao family. Go and see if it's possible. If it's possible, our Sun family's business network can be a subsidiary of the Xiao family. At that time, hee. Sun Xiaonong sneered. I understand, uncle. Leave it to me. Medicine Master Sun nodded and agreed. With his identity as a medicine master, it wasn't difficult to get in touch with the Sun family. He could easily get in touch with Xiao Yuanshan. The Sun clan had decided on their future direction and restored their former stability. Medicine Master Sun went back to work, while the Sun clan began to reorganize their businesses. They suspended their business of purchasing medicinal herbs because it was useless now. The warriors' market square did not accept their medicinal herbs at all. The Sun family received the news and so did the Xia family. When Xia Chaonan heard the news, his first reaction was disbelief. Because the Sun family had Medicine Master Sun, who was blessed by the heavens. How could the warriors' market remove the Sun family's qualification as a supplier? Could it be the White Fox? This was Xia Chaonan's first thought. After all, the White Fox was the only one who had attacked the Sun family recently. 3 people from the Sun family were killed by wind on horseback. This was a huge move. However, did the White Fox have the ability to influence the decision of the warriors' market? The only person who could make such a decision was Tai Muching. However, Xia Chaonan and Tai Muching had been doing business for many years. He knew Tai Muching's character very well. Tai Muching was an upright and strict person. He was loyal to the Hong Chamber of Commerce and wouldn't interfere with the normal operation of the warriors' market because of selfishness. He definitely wouldn't listen to someone else and remove the Sun family's qualification as a supplier. Even if he didn't care about the Sun family's reputation, Medicine Master Sun was still the pillar of the warriors' market. However, Xia Chaonan thought of a bold possibility. He looked at Xia Chaonan and Xia Huang and said, "Do you think that the White Fox is a superpower user and can influence the thoughts of others?" "I'm afraid that's the case." Xia Chaobei nodded. "If the wind can kill people, it should be able to affect other people's thoughts." "Damn, this is too awesome. It sounds like a sci-fi movie." Xia Huang sighed, "But I also think it's the work of the White Fox hero." "It must be. I'll get Xia Fei to thank her," Xia Chaonan said as he picked up the phone. Xiao Qin naturally knew that the Sun family was finished, and the Xia family had become the dominant family again. At this moment he was cultivating crazily. The morning passed in the blink of an eye. At noon, Xiaoqun called Cheng Minjing and found out that he only finished the physical examination for the girls in the morning. He still had to continue the physical examination in the afternoon, so he simply didn't go to school. However, with the help of the jade ring, Xiaoqun felt that the effect of his cultivation was obviously much stronger than before. However, he was still one step away from the 5th level of the qi refinement stage. However, he was not far from it. He was already at the peak of the 4th level of the qi refinement stage. He only needed a little more to step into the 5th level of the qi refinement stage. Phew. When Xiaoqun heard the sound of a car coming from outside the villa, he knew that the eldest miss had returned. So he stopped his cultivation and got up to leave the room. As expected, Cheng Minjing was back and Jean Beibei was with her. However, after Jean Beibei sent Cheng Minjing off, she said goodbye to Xiaoqun and drove away. I'm exhausted. Xiaoqun, come and help me carry my bag. Cheng Minjing said as she threw the bag in her hand to Xiaoqun. I've been busy for the whole day but I've carried this bag for nothing. Why is the school suddenly having a physical examination? Xiaoqun was a little puzzled. There was no notice at all for the sudden physical examination. Who knows? But I inquired about it later. It seems that Yu Xiaoqun is sponsoring it. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's sponsoring a physical examination for everyone, including blood tests and x-rays. Cheng Minjing complained as she walked into the villa. She threw herself on the sofa, kicked off her slippers and said to Xiaoqun, help me turn on the TV. Oh. Xiaoqun put Cheng Minjing's bag aside and turned on the TV. But he was thinking in his heart, Yu Xiaoqun is sponsoring it? Blood tests? What does he mean? Is he looking for something? Is he looking for a lady of mysterious Yin? The more Xiaoqun thought about it, the more likely it was. Because Yu Xiaoqun had issued this task before, and the method of blood test was told to him by Xiaoqun. Therefore Xiaoqun suddenly thought of this. It turns out that he wants to practice the chrysanthemum treasure book. I wonder if he has found the lady of mysterious Yin that he needs? Just as he was thinking about it, he turned on the TV. The local TV station was broadcasting an advertisement. If you have a dream, it will definitely come true. I'm the spokesperson. A large-scale talent show is starting. I'm the spokesperson. I speak for myself. This kind of talent show was endless. Every once in a while there would be a new show. Xiaoqun was already used to it. However, this show was actually local. When Xiaoqun saw the sponsor at the bottom right corner of the TV, he was stunned. It was actually the Yu family's Wuxia group. The Yu family's company was very scattered in the first few years. However, these years the company had formed a scale and began to form a group. They reorganized and formed a new Wuxia group. This also showed that the next successor of the Yu family was Yu Wuxia. Otherwise, the name of the group would not be named after him. As long as your appearance meets the requirements and you are healthy, you can sign up. The TV was still blabbering non-stop. Healthy? Yi Xiaoqun was suddenly happy. Wasn't this still a blood test? He knew what Yu Xiaoqun was going to do. It was estimated that no one met his requirements in today's physical examination. He had no choice but to use a talent show to expand the scope of the audition. As long as one could pass the audition and be chosen, they could become the spokesperson of the Wuxia group. It was estimated that Yu Xiaoqun was going to use the unspoken rules. Even if the person who met the requirements did not look good, they would still become the first and successfully become the spokesperson. Shaking his head, Xiaoqun did not pay attention to him. If he wanted to practice, then let him practice. At least for now, Yu Xiaoqun was not his enemy. Moreover, the Elder Heaven Ancestor said that his mental cultivation method was even more awesome than the chrysanthemum treasure book, so he was not afraid of him. What's so good about this advertisement? Help me change the channel. Cheng Minjing said in boredom. You're not going to participate in this event where I'm the spokesperson? Xiaoqun asked. I'm not that bored. Cheng Minjing said uninterestedly, quickly change the channel. Okay. Xiaoqun changed the channel. It happened to be the recently popular TV series, Campus Belle's Bodyguard. Cheng Minjing watched it with relish. Speaking of which, in the past few days, Lu Jinming was also cramming for this film. He also sent a WeChat message to the author, Fishman 2, asking for a role. Originally, he did not expect that Fishman 2 could reply to him alone, but he did not expect that he really received a reply. Hello, Student Lu. I have written down your request, but there is no suitable role for you in the Campus Belle. I will arrange a role for you in the next novel. I guarantee that it will be very bad *SS, and the appearance rate will be very high. Lu Jinming looked at the message and was ecstatic. He planned to show it to Cheng Minjing at school tomorrow. Is this the rhythm of being the protagonist? This made him overjoyed, so he immediately replied, "Hello, Fishman 2, I have another request. Please help me fulfill it. The female protagonist in the next novel, let her be called Cheng Menjing, okay?" "Okay. I have written it down." Soon, Fishman 2's message quickly replied. "Wow, Fishman 2 is so considerate of me." Lu Jiming thought for a while and replied, "I have another request. Can you fulfill it? Add a character called Xiao Qin. Make the setting more miserable. It's best if it is a good-for-nothing. Then Lu Jiming will often find trouble with him." "Oh, okay. I have also written it down." Fishman 2 replied. "Wow, I am the protagonist." Lu Jiming jumped 3 feet high. He was ready to show off to Cheng Menjing tomorrow. As Xiao Chen was preparing to go to the kitchen to cook, the phone in the house rang. Xiao Chen went back to the room to answer the phone. It was actually CFA. "CFA, what's the matter?" asked Xiao Chen. "White Fox Hero, thank you." CFA was a little excited. To be honest, she was shocked when she heard the news that the Sun family's qualification had been revoked. She didn't expect White Fox Hero to be so powerful and solve the problem once and for all. "Thank me for what?" Xiao Chen was stunned. The Sun family's qualification as a supplier has been revoked. In the future, only the Xia family will be there. "Thank you," CFA said, "but White Fox Hero, don't worry. Our Xia family will not be short of the 10 million every month. Although the matter has been resolved, this is the reward you deserve." Xiao Chen was a little surprised. The Sun family's qualification was revoked? What? However, he didn't say that he didn't do it himself. Instead, he said, "I took someone's money to eliminate a disaster. Now that the matter has been resolved, why are you still giving me money? Do you want me to work for your Xia family for a long time?" "How would I dare? My father wants to hire you as a guest elder of our Xia family. The salary is 10 million. CFA said, "Usually it's just a title." Xia Chaonan didn't stop giving Xiao Chen money just because the matter was resolved. It was because he knew that if White Fox wanted to make money, he could just drag it on and not solve it. If he solved it a little every month, he could always make money. But now the matter had been resolved. Xia Chaonan wouldn't do such an ungrateful thing. Therefore he made this proposal. Firstly, it was to express his gratitude to White Fox Hero. Secondly, he could also build a good relationship with White Fox Hero. It wouldn't cause their relationship to become strangers because of the end of the mission. Then I won't be disrespectful. Xiao Chen was originally short of money. The Xia family was once again the dominant family. He didn't lack 10 million, so Xiao Chen agreed. It seemed that he would sell breakfast here for a lifetime. Xiao Chen was also willing, so Xiao Chen would stick to it until now. Now that Tang Tang was sick, Xiao Chen had no interest, which reminded Xiao Chen of a saying that it didn't matter whether he sold fried dough sticks or not. What mattered was who he sold them with. However, not long after he left Tang Tang's house, Xiao Chen's cell phone rang. Who was looking for him so early in the morning? Xiao Chen glanced at the caller ID. It was actually a call from the SIM card of his main body. Moreover, it was Qin Jinping who was calling. "Little Shaq, why are you looking for me? Don't you sleep so early in the morning?" asked Xiao Chen. "Ha, boss Xiao Chen, let me tell you a piece of good news. The Sun family that Sun Rongjin who teased Lin Ke is from had my dad make a deal with them and have their qualifications as suppliers to the Warriors Guild revoked. They can go back and cry their hearts out. Offending boss Xiao Chen is the same as seeking death." In order to make Xiao Chen feel that he was not too deliberate, Qin Jinping had such good news to show off. "Oh really? That's good, but it has nothing to do with me. You just want this?" Xiao Chen secretly thought in his heart. Could it be that Qin Jinping's dad helped me indirectly? This was really a lucky hit. It's like this. There is something that is a little dangerous, but I think it is also an opportunity. With boss Xiao Chen's strength, you will not let it go. Qin Jinping also learned to be smart this time. He learned to suppress first and then let it go. "What is it? If you have something to say, say it." Xiao Chen frowned. "Do you need to pay for your phone? It has been almost a minute." "It's a monthly fee." Qin Jinping was stunned. "I'll freaking complain that you're wasting my electricity," Xiao Chen said. "It's like this. Isn't the person who died in the car race with you called Li Shanpao? He has a junior called Lin Chao. He is not satisfied, so he wants to compete with you again. Of course, it is not a free competition. There is also a reward," Qin Jinping said. He Chao Yuliang and Li Shanying had discussed it. They would put the blame on Lin Chao. Anyway, the person who took revenge was Lin Chao. If Xiaoqin died, the Xiao family and the Qing family would know that Xiaoqin died because of Lin Qiao. It had nothing to do with the Li family. Although Lin Qiao knew it was a trap, he had to jump into it. If he didn't jump, Li Shaniying would kill him first. He wouldn't have kept him alive until now. On the other hand, if the car race with Xiaoqin ended, he still had a chance. Li Shaniying would give him a sum of money to go abroad. By then he would be able to go abroad. No matter how bad *SS the Xiao family was, they were only limited to Songning City. Not to mention that he would go abroad. Therefore Lin Qiao didn't object to this reason. Qin Jinping told Xiaoqin. Anyway, the pros and cons had been told to Xiaoqin. Whether Xiaoqin followed was his own business. It had nothing to do with Qin Jinping. In order to ensure that he wouldn't rely on him in the future, he also secretly recorded the phone call. Lin Qiao, how much is the reward? Xiaoqin found it a little funny. Did he come up with a new trick because he didn't kill me last time? Racing again? Sure, but Xiaoqin said, I'm not interested in money recently. My level has increased. If you want to gamble, you can do it. Get something else. What? Qin Jinping was stunned. Recently, I've been liking ancient jade, especially the jade used by famous warriors. I heard that if you wear these things on your body, you can become a warrior. You also know that I plan to cultivate to become a warrior. Xiaoqin said, do you have it? If you don't look for me. I've been collecting ancient jade recently. I don't have time to do anything else. It was better to look for it together. If he wanted money, he still had to buy jade in the end. It was better to let Qin Jinping and the others think of a way together. With such an excuse, Xiaoqin would feel sorry for himself if he didn't blackmail him. Ancient jade. Qin Jinping was a little stunned. It must be used by famous martial artists? Where can I find it? It's too difficult. Can't I give you more gambling money? Forget it. I'll look for it myself. You can find someone else to race. Xiaoqin said directly, I'm not short of money recently. ****. Not short of money? A while ago you were making money everywhere like a mad dog. Now you're not short of money anymore. However, Qin Jinping had no choice. After listening to Xiaoqin, he could only say, okay, I'll try. Then call me when you have news. Xiaoqin hung up the phone. Qin Jinping held the phone helplessly. Qiao Yuliang and Li Shaniying were waiting for the news. How is it? Did Xiaoqin agree? What ancient jade? This guy suddenly said that he wanted ancient jade used by famous martial artists. I don't have that kind of thing. Qin Jinping said, he said that he is not short of money recently. I don't know who said that the ancient jade used by famous martial artists can help him cultivate. Isn't this nonsense? It's also the first time I've heard of such a strange effect. Li Shaniying said, but this is nothing. Our Li family has a lot of antiques. There are also many things used by famous masters. I'll ask someone to bring a few. Let him choose then. It doesn't matter anyway. If he dies, everything will still be mine. That's good. Qin Jinping breathed a sigh of relief. I'll call him back. After that, Qin Jinping dialed Xiaoqin's phone again. Why are you calling again? Don't you know that my cell phone is almost out of battery? Buy a power bank and send it to me. Don't waste my cell phone battery. Xiaoqin picked up the phone and said, okay, I'll buy one for you later. Qin Jinping agreed without thinking. A power bank didn't cost much. He continued, it's like this, boss Xiaoqin, I've discussed it with Li Qiao. He's been racing all these years and he's won a lot of things. There's really an ancient jade used by a martial artist. When the time comes, he'll bring it over. Will you race? Okay, when? When Xiaoqin heard that there was an ancient jade, he naturally agreed. Is this Saturday okay? Qin Jinping asked. Yes, where? Xiaoqin didn't care. Any time was fine. I'll tell you when Lin Qiao decides. Qin Jinping said, if you agree, then I can tell Lin Qiao to arrange it. Okay, then I'll wait for your news. Xiaoqin hung up the phone. He looked at the time and walked to school. Although it was a bit early, it was almost time. Along the way, Xiaoqin was surprised to find that the advertising signs on both sides of the road had been changed to "You families, I'm the spokesperson" advertisement. On it was written, the first place has an annual salary of 1 million endorsement contract. The second place has a bonus of 300,000. The third place has a bonus of 100,000. The selection and registration requirements were very low. As long as one went to the hospital to do a physical examination and fill in a form, one could enter the candidate list. There was no need for the contestants to do anything. Such a simple process. Other than Xiaoqin, it was hard for others to understand what Yu family was doing. The cost of organizing this event wasn't low. They had invested so much money, but in the end, it was all thunder and no action. There wasn't a TV talent show, but the first, second, and third place were directly determined after the audition. This was simply child's play. Generally, this event was to promote the company, but after this selection, the first, second, and third place were directly determined. It was really unimaginable. It was impossible to say that the rankings were predetermined. After all, if it was predetermined, the first, second, and third place wouldn't bring any substantial benefits to themselves. Chapter 252. The first place could sign an endorsement contract and get an annual salary of 1 million. The second and third place could go home with the bonus, and the event would be over. If it was decided internally, they could just find 3 people. Why would they need to spend the event planning and advertising fees? Of course, Xiaoqun knew that Yu Xiaochuan was looking for the lady of Xianin. Lin Ke also saw the advertisement on TV. She secretly sent the registration information and waited for the unified organization to organize a physical examination. In Lin's eyes, this was a great opportunity. Even if she couldn't get first place, the second and third place would get 300,000 and 100,000 respectively. If Lin got it, it would relieve the pressure of her family. After signing up, Lin Ke waited patiently. However, what surprised her was that Xiao Qin and Tang Tang didn't come to the morning market to set up their stalls. Where did they go? Lin called Tang Tang's phone, but it was turned off. She wanted to call Xiao Qin, but she didn't have the courage. She could only look at Xiao Qin and Tang Tang's booth every morning to see if there was anyone. The news of the competition was just announced yesterday. Today he received thousands of registration letters on the website and in physical mail. Red Hair reported it to Yu Xiaochuan, which made him very surprised. How many girls could there be in a school? However, on the first day of registration there were already thousands. Yu Xiaochuan didn't believe that he couldn't find the lady of Xianin. Anyway, he could continue to hold events and expand the scope of registration. The cost of a spokesperson was only 1 million. Including the awards, it wasn't much. In order to find the lady of Xianin, Yu Xiaochuan was willing to invest any amount of money. Good, very good. The first batch of registration will be limited to 10,000. Then, you take them to do a physical examination. If there is a blood match, then stop the registration and select 1, 2, and 3. If there is no match, then continue. Yu Xiaochuan ordered. Okay, young Master Kun. Red Hair quickly responded, what about the second and third place? What's the evaluation standard? That is up to you. Yu Xiaochuan didn't care about the second and third place. Okay, young Master Kun. Don't worry, I will definitely do it well. Red Hair quickly said. What Red Fur didn't expect was that the number of registrations on the first day had reached the 10,000 mark. Red Fur immediately stopped the registrations and got his subordinates to inform these 10,000 people to gather for a physical examination tomorrow. Of course, Red Hair had already contacted the hospital where the physical examination would be conducted. He had also informed them that everyone would only be tested on their blood tomorrow and nothing else. He had mobilized a lot of nurses to collect their blood and many doctors to conduct tests together. Therefore, it was nothing new for 10,000 people to be examined at the same time. Lin also received the news. She was excited and planned to go for a physical examination the next morning. Just as Yu Xiaochuan was bustling about at this very moment, the Xiao family welcomed an uninvited guest. What made Xiao Yuanshan a little surprised was that martial artist Marketplace's medicine master's son actually came to visit. Medicine master's son? What is he here to see? Xiao Yuanshan looked at Xiao Hai and asked. I'm not too sure either. Xiao Hai shook his head. Father, didn't you see him before? Has your illness been cured? Xiao Hai's words reminded Xiao Yuanshan. Could it be that medicine master's son found a way to cure his illness and that's why he secretly came to visit? After all, Xiao Yuanshan requested the martial artist Marketplace to keep this a secret. Even Xiao Hai didn't know about it. Alright, how about this? Tell him to come in and find me. Then, you can busy yourself with your own matters. Xiao Yuanshan instructed Xiao Hai. Yes, father. Xiao Hai didn't think much and went out to tell medicine master's son to see his father. Meanwhile, he went to busy himself with the Xiao family's matters. Ever since his big brother went missing, he had to shoulder all the family matters alone. It was very tiring for him. Old man Xiao, how have you been? Medicine master's son chuckled as he walked into Xiao Yuanshan's room. Xiao Yuanshan hurriedly got up to welcome him. Even though medicine master's son's age was considered his junior, martial artists respected strength. Those with high strength were called seniors and those with low strength were called juniors. Even though medicine master's son's martial artist cultivation wasn't much, He was still a medicine master. He was also a very powerful existence. Xiao Yuanshan couldn't help but be respectful. So it's Medicine Master Sunday. Your presence really brings light to my humble home. Ah, old man Xiao must be joking. I'm just here to take a look. I'm just a small character, what's there to bring light to? Medicine Master Sun waved his hand and said, Old man Xiao, your poison, how is it? It's still the same. Xiao Yuanshan sighed. Thank you for Medicine Master Sun's concern. Now do you have a good solution? Not yet, but I've been working hard to research and search. I believe that in the near future Old Man Zhao's poison will be cured. Medicine Master Sun said. That's good. At least there's something to think about. Xiao Yuanshan also knew that Medicine Master Sun was mostly consoling him, but he still smiled. Consoling was also good. As long as there was a glimmer of hope, he didn't want to give it up. Alright, Medicine Master Sun, then why did you come to the Xiao family? Medicine Master Sun's purpose of coming here made Xiao Yuanshan a little suspicious. He had heard about the recent dispute between the Sun family and the Xie family. The Sun family was prospering. If Medicine Master Sun didn't come here to cure his poison, then what was it for? I won't hide it from Old Man Xiao. This time I'm here to represent the Sun family to surrender. Medicine Master Sun's expression suddenly turned serious. He cupped his fist and said, Old Man Xiao, I hope that the Xiao family can save the Sun family. Consider that I tried my best to suppress the poison for you. What do you mean? Xiao Yuanshan was stunned. He didn't know why Medicine Master Sun would make such a move. He still didn't know that the Sun family had already been removed from the list of suppliers in the warrior's market. This kind of news the Xiao family usually had to wait for a day or two before they could find out. After all, the Xiao family didn't have anyone to specifically inquire about the news. Xiao Hai was too busy with his own matters. It's like this. Medicine Master Sun didn't hide anything. He told Xiao Yuanshan about how he had recently offended Qin Jinping. Offended the Qin family? Your Sun family is unwise. Xiao Yuanshan couldn't help but sigh after listening. This Sun family was indeed a little too complacent. They clearly knew that the Qin family's Qin Huanling had just been promoted to the Warriors Guild's vice president, yet they still went to provoke him? Wasn't this courting death? Actually, in the end, this matter can only be blamed on that brat Xiao Qin. Medicine Master Sun sighed and said helplessly. What does it have to do with Xiao Qin? Xiao Yuanshan was a little puzzled. How did Xiao Qin get involved? Initially, the one who had a conflict with our Sun family was Xiao Qin. Qin Jinping was only helping Xiao Qin, the boss, and that's why we became enemies. Medicine Master Sun told him about how Xiao Qin was humiliated and how Qin Jinping stood up for him. What? Qin Jinping is now still working as Xiao Qin's underling? Xiao Yuanshan was a little shocked after listening. Was there something wrong with this Qin Jinping's brain? Xiao Qin was already chased out of the family, yet he still went to work as an underling? How retarded would he be? Yeah, I'm also quite puzzled. The most infuriating thing is that Qiao Yuliang from the Qiao family also joined in and helped Xiao Qin. Medicine Master Sun was very depressed. He even killed a level 6 inner strength guard from our Sun family. Ahem. Xiao Yuanshan felt like he was listening to a book from heaven. It was fine that Qin Jinping was out of his mind, but Qiao Yuliang and Xiao Qin used to be sworn enemies, right? Why did he help Xiao Qin? Were they brainwashed? If he didn't know that Medicine Master Sun wouldn't joke about the Sun family's life and death, he would have thought that Medicine Master Sun was talking nonsense. But these things were easy to investigate. He would just ask Xiao Hai to find out tomorrow. In order to avoid arousing suspicion, Xiao Yuanshan rarely asked Xiao Hai to ask about Xiao Qin. He only knew that Xiao Qin was currently living okay, but it was a bit hard. He was a servant for Qing Minjing without a salary. Every morning he would go to the morning market with Tang Tang to sell breakfast. But he didn't know what relationship he had with Qin Jinping and Qiao Yuliang. Now it seemed that it was really strange. Old man Xiao, we had a good relationship in the past. I treated you before. Even when Xiao Qin was a child, I also saw that he couldn't practice martial arts. So I didn't suggest the Sun family to go against Xiao Qin. I just asked the Sun family to take revenge on Qin Jinping. Who knew that this would happen? Medicine Master Sun said as if he was very caring for the Xiao family. But this time Xiao Yuanshan really believed it. From his point of view, with the Sun family's strength, they might not be able to touch Qin Jinping and Qiao Yuliang. But if they wanted to touch Xiao Qin wouldn't be able to hide for even a day. Facing a giant like the Sun family, Xiao Qin was too weak. One person was too small. Anyone from the Sun family could crush him to death. But what Xiao Yuanshan didn't know was that the Sun family was about to be wiped out by his weak grandson. Thank you, Medicine Master Sun, for giving me face. Although Xiao Chen was kicked out of the family, I don't want him to die. Xiao Yuanshan sighed, revealing his true feelings. Medicine Master Sun thought to himself. As expected, if he died there would be no one left in the Xiao family. It might really make Xiao Chen come back. But Xiao Chen was a big waste. Dealing with him was a piece of cake. He could kill him in minutes. It was better to take over the Xiao family first. Well said, well said. Medicine Master Sun said, right now our Sun family is at a dead end. We're ready to rely on the Xiao family. If Elder Xiao accepts us, then you will be our master. Xiao Chen will be our young master. Our Sun family is a dependent family, so we can't be disrespectful to him. We'll talk about Xiao Chen later. You mean you want to rely on the Xiao family? Xiao Yuanshan was a little surprised. Although the Sun family was at a dead end, how much courage would it take to rely on someone else? After all, if the Sun family didn't offend the Chen family with the speed at which the Sun family accumulated strength, they would quickly enter the ranks of the aristocratic families. In the next aristocratic family selection, they might even replace one of the families. Chapter 253. That's right, please accept us, Elder Xiao. Medicine Master Sun nodded. Then what benefits will our Xiao family get in the future? Xiao Yuanshan asked. All of Sun family's business channels can be used by the Xiao family to quickly expand the business. As long as we have the Xiao family's name, it will be easy for us to do business. We only want 30% of the profits, and the remaining 70% will belong to the Xiao family, Medicine Master Sun said. Xiao Yuanshan sucked in a breath of cold air. This Sun family's move was really big. Their business channels, and they only took 30% of the profits. This was basically operating cost. After all, hiring staff and shop costs were all costs. They worked so hard and only took 30% in the end. This was a sign that they were sincere. And the Xiao family's weakness was their business. After doing business for so many years, there wasn't much improvement. It wasn't a problem for him to support his family, but to say that he was rich was still far from it. Especially since Xiao Hai couldn't handle it alone. So at this moment, Xiao Yuanshan was tempted. Okay, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Xiao Yuanshan nodded. No problem. Elder Xiao, I'll be leaving first. If there's any news, call me at any time. I'll be waiting for your good news. Medicine Master Sun looked at Xiao Yuanshan and knew that the matter was almost done. All that was left was to discuss the details with Xiao Hai. He didn't say much and got up to leave. After Medicine Master Sun left, Xiao Hai was called into the house by Xiao Yuanshan, and the two began to discuss. Xiao Chen was going to use the last pot of medicine tonight. If it didn't work, he would need to buy more ingredients tomorrow. Xiao Chen realized that his medicine was being used up very quickly. Although the Jade Thumb Ring was assisting Xiao Chen's cultivation, Xiao Chen also realized that although the Jade Thumb Ring was effective, it was worlds apart from the Jade Pendant. The spiritual energy contained in the two was not on the same level. Hence, Xiao Chen urgently needed other spirit jades. If he could cultivate together, two spirit jades would release spiritual energy at the same time. That way the effects and cultivation speed would be faster. Without any surprise, Xiao Chen still didn't break through. From Xiao Chen's point of view, he was only a little bit away from breaking through. It seemed like he could reach it, but he couldn't touch it at the same time. Xiao Chen felt as if he was far away, yet close at hand. If the jade ring was a little more powerful, Xiao Chen would have broken through. However, the problem now was that the jade ring wasn't powerful enough. The amount of spiritual energy it provided in a unit of time was not enough for Xiao Chen to successfully break through. Therefore, Xiao Chen could only cultivate slowly. In this way, Xiao Chen urgently needed other spiritual jades. It depended on whether Qin Jinpeng could really get it or not. Xiao Chen didn't believe that Lin Chao could get it. If Lin Chao was so powerful, why would he follow Li Shanpao? Nothing happened that night. It was no surprise that Xiao Chen didn't break through. The next morning, Xiao Chen went to see Tang Tang and went to school. Tang Tang hadn't woken up yet, but Xiao Chen suddenly found that Tang Yun's body seemed to be a little swollen, as if a lot of water had been poured under her skin. This made Xiao Chen a little worried. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what's going on? Why does Tang Tang look like a floating corpse? Xiao Chen asked quickly, what's under her skin? Oh, it's all toxins. She should wake up in a while and go to the toilet to detoxify. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, the toxins in her body are more than I thought. I'm afraid she will have to delay waking up a little. I still have to postpone it? When will she wake up? Xiao Chen asked. Even if it's delayed, it won't be long. She will wake up in a few hours, Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Oh, then I'd better go. I wanted to wait for her to wake up, but she needs to go to the toilet as soon as she wakes up. How awkward would she be if I'm here? Xiao Chen knew very well how smelly the toxins in his body were, and he was still in a normal body. Tang Tang's poison body might not be able to knock people out, but it would stink to the heavens. So, Xiao Chen had better leave first so that Tang Tang wouldn't be so embarrassed. Xiao Chen immediately went to Tang Tang's house. At the same time, on Yu Xiaochuan's side, Red Hair organized the contestants to go to the hospital for a physical examination in the morning. As for Kerlin, she also secretly went to participate in the physical examination. When Xiao Chen arrived at the school, there weren't many people. As soon as he walked to the playground, a red and cool Land Rover rushed toward him. *CK. Xiao Chen was stunned. This is the rhythm of wanting to kill me. He dodged subconsciously, but at this moment, the Land Rover behind him screeched to a stop behind Xiao Chen. Obviously, this person's purpose wasn't to kill Xiao Chen, but to scare Xiao Chen. Qi Zhigao jumped out of the car. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to dodge so quickly. Your reaction is quite quick. Is it because you have been beaten up too much recently that your dodging skills have improved? Qi Zhigao? Xiao Chen was stunned. He looked at his car and he didn't see Xiao Xiao. He was a little puzzled. This guy finally couldn't hold it in for a while? Hee, it's me, your father? Qi Zhigao smiled. Whose father did you say you are? A hint of violence flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. This feeling came again. Xiao Chen couldn't help but have the urge to kill Qi Zhigao. Qi Zhigao, you changed quite fast. You even called me Brother Xiao before. Xiao Chen found that as long as someone touched his reverse scale, he would have the urge to kill. This reverse scale included his family and friends. Oh, sorry, your father is dead. I don't want to be your father. Qi Zhigao saw that Xiao Chen was angry and he was even happier. Kid, I respected you as Xiao Zhao's brother and called you brother. But now even Xiao Xiao doesn't care about you. I don't respect you at all. Xiao Chen took a deep breath. This Qi Zhigao was a spoiled child. He didn't have much evil intentions towards him. He was just here to vent his anger. Otherwise he would have crashed his car earlier. There was no need to brake. Moreover, this guy was sincere towards Xiao Xiao. Xiao Chen didn't want to kill him because of his personal feelings. Although there was no one in the school now, no one would know if he killed him. Go, I don't want to see you. Xiao Chen waved his hand and turned to leave. Did your Gao bro let you go? Qi Zhigao slapped the back of Lin Yi's head. He was a stage 3 inner force martial artist, but at this moment he controlled his inner force and suppressed it to around stage 1. In other words, he could beat Xiao Chen up until his sister couldn't recognize him, but he couldn't take Xiao Chen's life. Xiao Chen took 2 steps forward and dodged. He didn't even turn his head and said, Qi Zhigao, are you done? Xiao Chen didn't want to kill him, but he was getting angry. Of course I'm not done. Xiao Chen, if I didn't beat you up today, it would be unfair to my car. That day Yu Xiaochuan was here, so I could only endure it. Now no one can help you. Haha, if I beat you up, Xiao Xiao will think that I'm very manly. Wahaha. Qi Zhigao looked at Xiao Chen proudly. However, speaking of Yu Xiaochuan, he was even angrier. Yu Xiaochuan said that he would pay for Xiao Chen's car, but he didn't even see a single cent. What a scam. So, his admiration and respect for Yu Xiaochuan turned into disgust. Young people at this age always looked up to those who were slightly older and very capable, and treated them as their goal. However, Yu Xiaochuan's actions made Qi Zhigao lose his interest. However, Qi Zhigao's behavior made Xiao Chen speechless. Does beating me up give you a sense of accomplishment? However, Xiao Chen didn't want to be beaten up for no reason because he pretended to be weak. Otherwise, how could he go to school? Xiao Chen had a lot of things to do recently. If he didn't resist and get beaten up, he wouldn't be able to go to the car race tomorrow. Don't force me, okay? Xiao Chen looked at Qi Zhigao and was really speechless. If you're a man, fight with me. Don't beg for mercy. No wonder Xiao Xiao looks down on you. You're a weakling, a coward, and a cripple. Qi Zhigao shouted. Xiao Chen pondered for a moment. Suddenly he turned around and kicked Qi Zhigao. At this moment Xiao Chen revealed his full strength. The strength of the peak of level 4 Qi refinement stage erupted, which was equivalent to more than level 5 Qi refinement stage. This made Qi Zhigao instantly dumbfounded. Before Xiao Chen's foot arrived, the wind from the kick had already pushed the unprepared Qi Zhigao directly to the ground. His face was filled with disbelief, horror, and confusion. How could Xiao Chen be a martial artist? Moreover, his strength had reached the peak of level 5 Qi refinement stage. How was this possible? This was unrealistic. However, unrealistic was unrealistic. While Qi Zhigao was still in shock, Xiao Chen's foot had already arrived. Qi Zhigao subconsciously closed his eyes. He was only a level 3 Qi refinement stage martial artist. Even if he resisted with all his strength and Xiao Chen didn't attack with all his strength, he would still be seriously injured. However, when Xiao Chen's foot stepped on his chest, he held back his strength. Qi Zhigao felt for a long time. Other than the feeling of a foot stepping on his body, there was nothing wrong. Qi Zhigao opened his eyes and looked at the big foot in front of him in disbelief. Looking at Xiao Chen, who was looking down on him, he subconsciously said, "Brother Xiao, I was wrong. Don't step on me to death." He thought that Xiao Chen wanted him to say a few last words before he died. Wasn't it usually like this on TV and in novels? Before killing someone, they would let the victim say a few last words. Therefore, Qi Zhigao was directly scared to death. "Qi Zhigao, aren't you very capable? Why are you scared? You are a weakling, a coward, and a cripple." Xiao Chen returned all the words that Qi Zhigao had said before to Qi Zhigao. In an instant, the momentum of his body erupted again, as if he was going to step on Qi Zhigao to death. "Brother Xiao, I was wrong. I am a weakling." Qi Zhigao was indeed scared to death. "Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Otherwise I can easily kill you," Xiao Chen said lightly. Chapter 254. I can't. "Brother Xiao, I'm your brother-in-law. How can I talk nonsense?" Qi Zhigao quickly said. "Whose brother-in-law are you? I don't have a brother-in-law like you." Xiao Chen shook his head and snorted coldly. "Brother, I was wrong before. You know, your brother-in-law admires the strong. Brother Xiao, weren't you a good-for-nothing before? How did you suddenly have the strength of the peak of the 5th stage of inner force? What's going on? I'm a little confused," Qi Zhigao said while lying on the ground with a smile. "Nothing. Just don't talk nonsense." Xiao Chen didn't answer him because Xiao Chen couldn't answer it clearly. Moreover, Xiao Chen didn't want to tell anyone about the Elder Heaven Ancestor. At least not for the time being. "Don't worry." Qi Zhigao nodded repeatedly. "By the way, Brother Xiao, I know. You must have deliberately hidden your strength and then acted with the Xiao family. They drove you out to investigate the disappearance of my uncle. Is that true?" "Who the F***ck is your uncle?" Xiao Chen said angrily. "I'm your brother-in-law, brother. Uncle Xiao Feng is my uncle," Qi Zhigao said. "You understand it yourself." Xiao Chen didn't expect that although Qi Zhigao was a playboy, his brain was very sharp. He actually found out that there was something wrong with his father's disappearance. Yes. Qi Zhigao nodded repeatedly. "Don't tell Xiao Xiao about this," Xiao Chen said. Oh, Xiao Xiao doesn't know?" Qi Zhigao nodded quickly. "She doesn't know," Xiao Chen said. "Oh, she still doesn't know that her brother is a shining figure. If she knew, she would definitely worship you to death." Qi Zhigao said, "No, Brother Xiao, I already worship you to death. I just know that there is a master beside me. So it turns out that my big brother is the legendary existence of the younger generation. He hid his superb strength and endured humiliation to clear his father's name. He even secretly went to the guardian goddess and flirted with girls in secret. So cool, so awesome, so awesome." Xiao Chen was a little speechless. But from Qi Zhigao's point of view, if all of this was premeditated and not a fortuitous encounter, then it was really amazing. How scheming did he have to be to do such a thing? "Haha, I know I'm right. Big brother, you've tacitly agreed. Don't worry, I won't say anything. You don't need to hint at me." Qi Zhigao crawled up from the ground and gave the car key to Xiao Chen. "Big brother, how can you not have a car if you're so awesome? You can have my car." "No, I have a few. Qin Jinping gave them to me," Xiao Chen said. "Oh, I understand. Keep a low profile. Big brother is keeping a low profile now, so I'm leaving. If you need anything, just call me. I'm definitely your best lackey," Qi Zhigao said. Xiao Chen nodded and motioned that Qi Zhigao could go. This guy could still be trusted. After all, he really wanted to pursue Xiao Xiao. In that case, he would definitely not do anything bad to the Xiao family. Especially when he thought that Xiao Chen was acting with the Xiao family, there was no reason for him to expose him. After Qi Zhigao left, Xiao Chen walked into the classroom. After a while, Zheng Xiaoquan came. He saw Xiao Chen but did not see Tang Tang. He could not help but be a little worried. "Xiao Chen, why hasn't Tang Tang come yet? Did something happen to her?" "No, she should wake up today, right?" Xiao Chen said. "Elder Heaven Ancestor should not be wrong. Xiao Qin was still very convinced of Elder Heaven Ancestor's judgment. Zheng Xiaoquan knew that it was useless to worry, so he could only nod and wait patiently. After Xiao Qin transferred here, he suddenly found that his relationship with Tang Tang was a little estranged. On the contrary, Xiao Qin was getting closer and closer to Tang Tang. However, he was not jealous because he knew that it was impossible for him and Tang Tang. If Xiao Qin could treat Tang Tang sincerely, he would be very happy, although it would be a little sad. Xiao Qin was right. In fact, Tang Tang woke up as soon as Xiao Qin left in the morning. But after waking up, she got up in a daze and rushed to the toilet. She only felt that her stomach seemed to be about to erupt. After entering the bathroom, Tang Tang couldn't come out. Tang Tang was a little confused. She didn't seem to have such diarrhea before and it didn't stop. Fortunately, it was water, otherwise it would come out. But what's wrong with me? In a daze, Tang Tang felt that she seemed to be going to school before, and then she didn't know anything. Was it a dream before? Now that she thought about it, it should be so. Otherwise, why would she wake up at home? Tang Tang sat in the toilet. Time passed by, but her stomach didn't have the slightest intention of stopping. 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. Tang Tang was a little anxious. She looked up at the wall clock in the bathroom, and it was already more than 6 o'clock. She didn't go to the morning market to set up the stall, but she was going to be late for school. Finally, at 7 o'clock, Tang Tang finished the battle. But she touched her body and it was also sticky. She didn't know what black stuff seeped out. Could it be that she splashed when she went to the toilet? But it couldn't be. Anyway, Tang Tang had no choice but to turn on the shower head in the bathroom and quickly rinsed herself. She rinsed the body twice and finally washed off the mud on her body. Tang Tang quickly wiped her body, ran out, put on her clothes in the bedroom, picked up her school bag and rushed to school. Why does it seem that the clothes on my body are a little bigger? Did it become bigger after taking a bath? Other clothes were shrinking, but this one was actually soaked big. It seemed that the cheap clothes bought in the morning market didn't work. But Tang Tang didn't want to go home to change. It was good to wear loose casual clothes. Tang Tang glanced at her watch. She was going to be late. Not only was she going to be late, but she also glanced at the date. She was actually on duty today. Tang Tang vaguely remembered that it seemed that there were still a few days before her turn on duty, but how could it be so fast? Was she dreaming again? Was she in a daze? Tang Tang trotted all the way to school. She used to walk to school, but today when she saw a bus, she directly squeezed onto it and went in the direction of school. What made Tang Tang a little confused was that it was not easy to squeeze onto the bus with her fat body in the past. But today she actually got on the bus with a whoosh. And in the bus, there was a man with a wretched look staring at Tang Tang. Look at your head. Haven't you seen a fat girl before? Tang Tang glared at the wretched man. Huh. The wretched man was stunned and shook his head in amazement as if he had heard something very incredible. Tang Tang didn't have the mood to care about him. She got off the bus and rushed to the school and the class. At this time there were 2 minutes left before the first class. Tang Tang quickly ran to the podium. She didn't even have time to put her school bag back in the seat. She picked up the blackboard eraser and began to wipe the blackboard. The math teacher walked into the class and was about to start the class. Seeing Tang Tang was still wiping the blackboard, she was just about to ask why she was on duty so late. What did she do before? But before she could speak, she was stunned. Who is this little girl? Did she go to the wrong class? Why have I never seen her before? Classmate, did you go to the wrong class? The math teacher looked at Tang Tang with some confusion. She looked left and right, but she didn't know her. She looked a little familiar. But the teacher had taught countless people in her life, so it was normal to see everyone a little familiar. Wrong class. Miss Chin, don't you know me? Tang Tang looked at the math teacher with some confusion. This is the 3rd grade class. Although I'm Miss Chen, but are you in this class? Miss Chen looked at Tang Tang with some confusion. I am. Tang Tang said in her heart. Did Miss Chen lose her memory? Are you a new transfer student? Miss Chen thought of a possibility, but it was a little strange that a transfer student knew her on the first day of school. Miss Chen, I am Tang Tang. Tang Tang said with some depression. Tang Tang? Miss Chen looked at Tang Tang in front of her in astonishment. You said you were Tang Tang? Don't joke, classmate. This joke is not funny at all. Which class are you in? Hurry up and go back. I'll take it as a joke. Otherwise, if I report it to the school, you will be punished. Report it to the school? Give me punishment? Miss Chen, don't joke around. I'm really Tang Tang. Tang Tang really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How come Miss Chen didn't know me? In fact, not only Miss Chen, when Tang Tang entered the class, the students in the class were also a little puzzled. Why did a super beautiful girl suddenly come in? She was almost on par with the goddess Cheng Menjing. The students were stunned. Was she a transfer student? Then they would be happy in the future. They didn't know what her family background was. Could they catch up with her? Cheng Menjing was arrogant and cold every day. They knew that they could not catch up with her. Moreover, she was Lu Jinming's girl. Who was Lu Jinming? He was a gangster. Who dared to provoke him? But Tang Tang's appearance made the other boys' minds active. Students, you all know Tang Tang, right? Then do you think the person on the podium is Tang Tang? Do you know her? Seeing Tang Tang's expression, Miss Chen was a little depressed. Why didn't this student give up until she jumped into the Yellow River? There should be a limit to jokes, right? Tang Tang was a student in this class. The students in this class should know her. In this case, she simply didn't say it. She didn't argue with her. She directly let the students say whether the student on the podium was Tang Tang or not. Miss Chen was really puzzled. Why did a beautiful girl pretend to be Tang Tang? Tang Tang was much uglier than her. No. The students under the stage almost said in unison. How could it be Tang Tang? Tang Tang and she were completely different people. Chapter 255. Moreover, some bold ones such as Skinny Monkey even whistled, "Beauty, are you a transfer student? Can I pursue you?" Of course, when everyone was making a fuss, only one person was stunned at the moment. Xiaoqun was very puzzled. Tang Tang's cousin, why did she suddenly come to the class to join in the fun? The person in front of him was the same as the cousin's photo Xiaoqun saw in Tang Tang's home. She was very beautiful, but why did Xiaoqun feel that she was silly? What a waste of her appearance. Even if she pretended to be Tang Tang, people would still believe her. She was exposed, but she still didn't repent, and kept saying that she was Tang Tang. Was she here to be funny? Skinny Monkey, are you looking for death? How dare you flirt with your sister Tang? Tang Tang glared at the direction of Skinny Monkey, and then said to Lu Jinming, "Lu Jinming, control your little brother." Lu Jinming was stunned. This beautiful girl was quite familiar with him. Her tone and voice were a bit like Tang Tang, but she was clearly not Tang Tang. "Hey, don't make trouble. You go out, I have to go to class," Teacher Chin said helplessly. Tang Tang was about to collapse. What the hell was going on? When she woke up, it seemed that everyone around her didn't know her. Was it really like what those horror novels said? When she woke up, everyone around her was still there, but she had traveled through time. And traveled to a parallel world where there was also a Tang Tang, but it was not her. "Xiaoqun, others may not know me, but don't you know me?" Tang Tang didn't care about Teacher Chin anymore. She quickly ran to Xiaoqun, stared at Xiaoqun and said, "Look who I am. Aren't you Tang Tang's cousin?" Xiaoqun said weakly, "Others may not know you, but I definitely know you. I have seen your photo in Tang Tang's home." "Did she tell you?" "I am Tang Tang." Tang Tang was a little anxious. "What cousin? Where did I come from?" Xiaoqun stopped joking. Tang Tang was so anxious that she didn't remember that she had lied to Xiaoqun's cousin before. She just wanted to prove that she was Tang Tang. Tang Tang doesn't look like this. Xiaoqun took out his mobile phone, opened a photo of himself and Tang Tang, and handed it to Tang Tang's cousin in front of him. "Look, this is Tang Tang." "It's me," Tang Tang said anxiously. Xiaoqun was really speechless. He had wanted to pursue Tang Tang's cousin before. It turned out that the person in front of him was not very smart. "Take a selfie and see what you look like. Do you look like this?" Tang Tang picked up the phone with some doubts. She opened the camera and turned on the front camera. She was a little shocked at first glance. She widened her eyes and looked at the character in the phone incredulously. "This... Tang Tang screamed in fear. Of course, fear was one thing, but there was also excitement in his voice. "I actually lost weight? Did I turn back into my 16-year-old self? What was going on? Am I dreaming?" However, that was clearly not the case. How could there be such a realistic dream? Furthermore, he had gone to the toilet for several hours. Since Tang Tang became fat, although she still looked very cheerful, she rarely went to the mirror, especially in her home there was no mirror. After all, girls cared about their appearance. This morning, Tang Tang was in a daze. She hadn't eaten for days and went to the toilet for so long. Her stomach was already empty, so she didn't notice the changes in her body. But now she suddenly thought about it. What was it that she had excreted in the morning? Basically, it was excreting non-stop for 2 to 3 hours. How much waste was there? What is left? Her clothes might not have shrunk, but she had become thinner. That was also why it was easier for her to get on the bus. The perverted man looked at her lecherously, and it was also because she had turned into her previous self. Ah! Did I change back? Did he really change back? Tang Tang was so excited. In fact, she had always dreamed of changing back, but she thought it was impossible before. But suddenly it became a reality. Tang Tang felt so happy. Looking at Tang Tang's crazy look, Xiao Chen was a little dumbfounded. The whole class was also a little dumbfounded. Teacher Chen smiled bitterly and thought, is this person a psychopath? Ai, she is so beautiful. What a pity. You, cousin Tang Tang, what are you doing? Xiao Chen looked at the happy Tang Tang and asked. Xiao Chen, I'm Tang Tang. Tang Tang pointed to herself. You don't even know me? Did you forget that we went to the morning market to sell fried dough sticks every day? Did you forget that I was sick and you went to my house to take care of me? Did you forget that I have to introduce my cousin to you? I didn't forget, but... When Xiao Chen said this, he was slightly surprised. Previously, he only noticed the appearance of the beautiful girl in front of him. At this moment, listening to her voice carefully, it seemed to be Tang Tang's. Others might not be able to judge it, but the six senses of a cultivator were quite sharp. This voice should be Tang Tang's. Xiao Chen looked at Tang Tang carefully again. Although the person in front of him was much more beautiful, she still vaguely looked like Tang Tang. Are you really Tang Tang? Xiao Chen asked with uncertainty. Of course. Tang Tang nodded. Why would I lie to you? Let me show you my ID card. As Tang Tang said this, she took out her ID card from her wallet and handed it to Xiao Chen. This was her previous photo, but she rarely used her ID card in school. Otherwise people would be surprised. Puff. Xiao Chen glanced at Tang Tang's ID card and finally confirmed that the person in front of him was Tang Tang, but he didn't know why Tang Tang lost weight. Are you your cousin? N? Tang Tang nodded with some embarrassment. Xiao Chen's heart jumped for no reason. If Tang Tang was her cousin, then what did Tang Tang's words mean that day? Even if Xiao Chen was not very sensitive to emotional matters, he roughly understood Tang Tang's mind. As for why Tang Tang was so thin, Xiao Chen thought that maybe it was because of his potion. Before, under Tang Tang's skin, wasn't it already swollen? It was estimated that it was the venom made of toxins. After the venom was discharged, Tang Tang naturally returned to her original appearance. Xiao Chen really didn't expect that his potion could also have the effect of losing weight. However, he was afraid that this was only applicable to Tang Tang. If it were other fat people who didn't become fat because of poison, it would be impossible to solve the problem. Well, Tang Tang, you scared me to death. Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief and nodded. Then he said, Teacher Chen, this person is Tang Tang. I have confirmed that she was sick before and lost weight. She used to look like this. If you don't believe me, you can look at her ID card photo. Teacher Chen was also very surprised after listening. She came over and looked at Tang Tang's ID card. Sure enough, she confirmed that this person was really Tang Tang. She suddenly felt a little embarrassed. I'm sorry, Tang Tang. I thought you were a fake. It doesn't matter. I was shocked myself. Tang Tang shook her head with a smile and sat next to Xiao Chen. This time the students in the class began to be shocked. Is this person really Tang Tang? Oh my god, Tang Tang is so beautiful. Although everyone heard that Tang Tang used to be very beautiful and was a campus belle that was in junior high school. After the senior high school redivided the classes, few people knew Tang Tang. However, they still heard the legend, but it was just a legend. Now that they saw such a beautiful Tang Tang, they were dumbfounded. It turned out that the legend was true. These people were a little regretful. Why didn't they pursue Tang Tang earlier? Alas, it was said that every fat person was a potential stock. This was not wrong at all. Although Tang Tang was a fat woman, she was also a fat person. Thinking about it, if Tang Tang was not beautiful before, would Yu Xiaochuan like Tang Tang? What was Yu Xiaochuan's identity? It was really too late to regret. Now, it seemed that the person who had the best relationship with Tang Tang was Xiao Chen. Perhaps Xiao Chen would be the first to get the benefits. At this moment, Jing Xiaoquan also turned around and looked at Tang Tang in disbelief. He had always liked Tang Tang, and at this moment he was even more shocked. However, he also knew that the distance between him and Tang Tang was getting farther and farther. Now, not to mention him, even Xiao Chen might not be able to catch up with Tang Tang. It was not that Tang Tang would change, but Yu Xiaochuan. Jing Xiaoquan looked further. The engagement between Tang Tang and Yu Xiaochuan had not been officially dissolved. In the end, if Yu Xiaochuan went back on his word, then he and Xiao Chen would have no chance. After all, Yu Xiaochuan was the real fiancé of Tang Tang. Well, don't be surprised. Tang Tang just lost a little weight. Let's start the class. Although Teacher Chen was also shocked about Tang Tang, the main task at the moment was to teach the class. She did not want to delay the teaching because of this matter. Then the students gathered their thoughts and prepared for the class. The thin monkey-like guy curled his lips with some regret. Young Master Ming, it's really a pity. Xiaoqing got lucky. Do you think Yu Xiaochuan is a decoration? Maybe Yu Xiaochuan will take it back. Lu Zhenming shook his head. I just don't know if Xiaochen has used it. It will be fun if he gives Yu Xiaochuan a second-hand one. Ha ha, it's true. Yu Xiaochuan is not a good guy. Last time he cheated young Master Ming. The thin monkey-like guy said. Forget it. It's not his fault for the broken bowl. Lu Zhenming said, damn it. What I'm most worried about is that Tang Tang has been taken away. What if Xiaochen goes back to chase Cheng Menjing? Then my chance will be small. Isn't there still Jean Beibei? The thin monkey-like guy said, isn't Jean Beibei on good terms with Xiaochen? Chapter 256. Who knows? Lu Zhenming nodded. Let's hope that he will continue chasing after Jean Beibei. Don't get any ideas about Cheng Menjing. Otherwise he will be stealing what he is guarding. Only if Cheng Menjing dumps him. The slim monkey-like man, however, said in disdain, he is just an insignificant servant, a bullsh *t. How could Miss Cheng like him? It's absolutely impossible. You do have a point. Xiaochen was her fiancé before. Nothing happened between them and there were no sparks between them. It is even more unlikely that Xiaochen became a servant. Thinking of that, Lu Zhenming was relieved. On the other side, Xiaochen asked in confusion, Tang Tang, did you go to the toilet for hours this morning? Yes. How did you know? Tang Tang asked, somewhat embarrassed. Because I gave you a detoxification pill before. Xiaochen knew that even if Tang Tang did not ask now, she would certainly ask after she thought it through. Yu Xiaochuan might not necessarily keep such a thing a secret. Therefore, Xiaochen simply told her in case Tang Tang grew suspicious later. A detoxification pill? Tang Tang was dazed. What happened to me? You fainted on your way to school. As he spoke, Xiaochen told her about how Tang Tang fainted and was sent to the hospital for examination. Then he said, as it happens, I have a detoxification pill that my father left for me. I was reluctant to take it, so I gave it to you. I didn't expect that it would really work. You gave me such a precious thing to eat? Isn't it for you to train your internal force? Tang Tang was touched and somewhat regretful. You gave it to me, but what about yourself? I'll figure out another way. After all, I may not be able to train my internal force even if I take it. Xiaochen smiled casually. As long as you are fine. It seems that all the toxins in your body have been expelled. Yes, I feel so refreshed. No wonder I seemed to be in a daze before. It turned out that I was in a coma for 3 days. Tang Tang said, thank you so much. There's no need to thank me. We're brothers. Xiaochen suddenly realized that when he said the word buddy, he felt a little uncomfortable. Was it just a buddy? Xiaochen admitted that he didn't want to be a buddy anymore. Yeah, haha, then I won't stand on ceremony. Tang Tang laughed. By the way, now that you've returned to your previous appearance, are you going back to the Tang family? In fact, that was what Xiaochen was most reluctant to part with. If Tang Tang recovered, how could the Tang family remain indifferent? In the past, the Tang family thought that Tang Tang was a disgrace to the family. She was laughed at, broken off the engagement and abandoned. But now, such a beautiful lady, even if she didn't marry into the Yu clan, she could still marry into other aristocratic families in exchange for a lot of benefits and resources. Would the Tang clan let her go? Xiaochen didn't think so. I'm not going back. Tang Tang said, I'm living a good life now. Why should I go back? I don't care about those vanity things. Xiaochen smiled, but he didn't say that sometimes it was not up to him to decide whether to go back or not. Just like when they were driven out of the family, it was not up to them to decide. But Xiaochen didn't want to say that to hurt Tang Tang. After all, Tang Tang was in a good mood. If he said that, she might not be happy to return to her previous appearance. In fact, in the class, Miss Tang was the most troubled one. Jean Beibei said to Cheng Menjing, cousin, bad news? Cousin-in-law is in danger this time. He's going to be taken away. What will he be taken away from? Cheng Menjing wrinkled her nose and snorted. Jean Beibei said with a strong sense of crisis, Tang Tang. Tang Tang has become prettier. She's as pretty as you, cousin. Besides, she's obviously interested in cousin-in-law. It's only a matter of time before cousin-in-law is taken away. He likes Xin Jingxian, doesn't he? Isn't Tang Tang his buddy? Although Qing Minjing said that, she had to admit that Tang Tang's chances had increased. But what did that have to do with her? Xiao Qin wasn't her fiancé. It had nothing to do with her who he was with. He could be with whoever he wanted. Alas, how can there be so many buddies? I'm his sister-in-law. What's going to happen has to happen. Jean Beibei said. Why are you meddling? Qing Minjing glared at Jean Beibei. Then what do you think we should do? I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just worried that his relationship with Tang Tang will affect his job as a servant. Weren't you trying to please me in the beginning? I'm going to stop you from dating. I'm going to stir up everyone I see. I'm going to show you who's the real fiancé and who's the real lady. That's right. It's definitely going to affect him. Jean Beibei nodded. So, cousin Minjing, you have to show your charm too. For example, play some SM games with cousin-in-law so that he'll be able to stay. Po. Get lost. Qing Minjing said angrily. It was all meaningless tricks. What Beibei said is the truth. If it weren't for the fact that Beibei doesn't know how to play, I would have played with him too. As long as it's for cousin Minjing's happiness, I'm willing to sacrifice myself to pave the way. Jean Beibei said pitifully. Are you doing this for me or for yourself? I don't need him. I don't want him even though he's my fiancé, much less a lowly servant. Qing Minjing said. Fine. Jean Beibei said, if you don't work hard when you're young, you'll only be sad when you're old. What nonsense are you talking about? Uneducated people are terrible. Qing Minjing kicked Jean Beibei. Yu Shaochuan had no idea that his fiancé had gone through drastic changes yet. Right now, he was waiting for the result from Red Hair in excitement at home. In fact, Red Hair was anxious too. This was the first thing that he had done for Yu Shaochuan. If he could do it well, there would be a lot of benefits in the future. By then he would be able to eat, drink, and have sex. A technician ran over excitedly with the test report and shouted at Red Hair, Brother F***CK. Brother F***CK. I've got the result. It was no wonder that he was so excited. Red Hair had said that whoever had the test result would be rewarded with 10,000 yuan. Although there were a lot of people doing the test, they all wanted to do more tests in order to make money. Therefore, the speed of the test was naturally higher. The technician was lucky enough to find a blood sample that matched the data that Red Hair required. Oh, let me take a look. Red Hair was immediately overjoyed. He didn't expect that there would be a blood sample that matched the requirement in the first batch of contestants. This was really a great thing. Okay. Here it is. This is the test report of that contestant. The technician handed the report in his hand to Red Hair. You did a good job. Go to my place to get the 10,000 yuan reward later. Red Hair nodded with satisfaction. He took the test report and couldn't help but be stunned. Hey, why is it her? Brother F***CK, what's wrong? Seeing Red Hair's sudden expression, the technician thought that there was something wrong with his report and that it didn't meet the requirement. He suddenly felt a chill in his heart. Don't waste 10,000 yuan. It's okay. You can go ahead with your work. Red Hair waved his hand and said. The test must continue, but they could just pretend and end it hastily. They didn't need to do the test seriously. Therefore, Red Hair found his subordinate and told him to pass the message. He had to pretend. After all, if he stopped now, people would definitely be suspicious. Besides, Yu Shaochuan didn't need the test fee. Kerlin, it's actually Kerlin? Red Hair looked at the report in his hand and was a little shocked. How could it be her? To be honest, this person gave Red Hair a headache. This was Xiao Chen's girl. If he touched her, he might attract trouble from Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was fine, but the key was that his underlings were all lunatics. One was Zhu Yingxiong and the other was Chen Jinping. One of them killed Lu Dianbiao, and the other robbed the Sun Clan's medicinal herbs. Red Hair wasn't their match at all. If he provoked them and they came to take revenge, what would he do? But thinking about it, his current backing was Yu Shaochuan. Who was Yu Shaochuan? He was the Yu clan's young master and also the leader of the younger generation. Such an existence wasn't something that Chen Jinping and Zhu Yingxiong could compare to. Thinking about this, Red Hair calmed down and dialed Yu Shaochuan's number. Red Hair, how is it? Any results? Yu Shaochuan picked up the phone and asked anxiously. Yes, I found one. The blood sample's parameters meet the requirements. Red Hair hesitated for a moment. He didn't say the relationship between Kerlin and Xiao Chen. He planned to say it in person. He couldn't explain it clearly over the phone, and there were many people nearby. "Oh, found it? That's great." After Xiao Chuan heard it, he jumped 3 feet high and laughed. "Wow, the heavens are helping me. When will you bring her to see me?" "Young Master Kun, this can't be rushed. I have to talk to her first and then prepare to see if she's willing to be first and if she's willing to sleep with you." Red Hair said. "That's fine. Threaten and bribe her. If that doesn't work, use force." Xiao Chuan couldn't wait that long. Anyway, he was just looking for a tool to cultivate the chrysanthemum treasure book. He wasn't looking for a wife. He could do whatever he wanted. Force was fine too. Understood. Red Hair was overjoyed. It seemed like young Master Kun just wanted to play around or achieve some kind of goal. That would be easy. Otherwise, persuading Kerlin would be a difficult task. Very quickly the test was over. There weren't any tests after that. It was just a blood test. Following that, Red Hair announced, "All right, everyone, wait for the news. Our committee will conduct a comprehensive evaluation of everyone's information. In a while we will announce the first, second, and third prizes. Kerlin, you have a lot of hope." Red Hair was just hinting. Today Red Hair had dressed up like a dog. His hair wasn't red but dyed back to black. He even wore a pair of glasses. He looked like an artistic person. Chapter 257. Although Lin Ke felt that this redhead was somewhat familiar, she did not think too much about it. From the start, it was impossible for her to associate a street thug with the person in charge of the competition. The two were completely unrelated. If Redhead had the ability, he would have quit being a thug long ago and gone to extort a few $100s. However, Red Hair's words made Kerlin very excited. Was it possible for her? Did that mean that she could get an annual salary of $1 million by shooting a few commercials? If she only took back 100 or 300,000 yuan, it could only improve the life of the Lin family, but it couldn't change too much. At most, she could pay for her college tuition and living expenses, but the family still had to continue their hard work of selling noodles. However, if she got first place and got an endorsement contract with an annual salary of $1 million, then her parents could go back and rest. They wouldn't have to work so hard anymore. In the future, her tuition and living expenses would be paid. Thinking up to this point, Lin Ke's breathing became hurried. This reaction was seen by Red Fur. He had purposely said those words just now to see Lin Ke's reaction. He wanted to see how much Lin Ke looked forward to first place. But from the looks of it, Kerlin should be looking forward to it. Thinking about how her family was short of money, her father was disabled, and her mother worked hard selling noodles every day, she should be able to agree to young Master Kun's request, right? Thinking of this, Red Hair's heart was at ease. The so-called judging was nothing more than stalling for time. If they were chosen all at once, it would be too fake. They had to drag it out for a few hours. Of course, it was up to Red Hair to decide who would be first, second, and third place. However, Red Hair didn't want to give them away so easily. There were a lot of beauties who came to the show. Although some of them looked very coquettish, Red Hair didn't care. He liked to play like this. He had decided that the second and third place would belong to whoever asked him to do the unspoken rules. Hence, when he left, he continued to hint, "I'll go back to the opposite hotel, room 1818, to rest for a while. The judging will begin in the afternoon." With that said, Red Hair left. He left these contestants with his back view. 1818 was the hotel's top-notch presidential suite. It was also a very auspicious homonym. Red Hair used his official position for personal gain and enjoyed top-notch treatment. Of course, it was also to spend a pleasant afternoon and night with second and third rank. Whoever came first would be second place. Those who lined up later would only be third place. As for those who came later, there was no one who came later. Red Hair laid comfortably on the hotel's top-notch round bed. Not long after, there was a knock on the door. Red Hair jumped off the bed with a whoosh and went to open the door happily. "Who is it?" "Waiter." The person outside said. F***CK. Red Hair was stunned. He opened the door unhappily and said impatiently, "What's the matter?" "Brother Lu, I'm sorry, in order to let you open the door, I had to pretend to be a waiter." A cute girl with a sweet appearance looked at Redhead with her big sparkling eyes. Her eyes seemed to be electrifying. Coupled with her coquettish voice, Redhead's bones immediately softened. "You are?" Red Hair's lower body suddenly reacted. "I'm Xiaosu. I'm a contestant for the spokesperson competition. I heard that the first place has been decided internally. My heart hurts. Am I any worse than that Lin something?" As he spoke, Xiaosu's entire body fell onto Redhead's body. Redhead almost pushed her down because of the surging waves. Cough cough. Come in and talk. Red Hair let little Sue in and closed the door. Xiaosu was even more daring this time. He squatted down and started to take off Redhead's pants. Oh, slow down. Red Hair couldn't help but yell. It had to be said that Xiaosu's martial arts were top-notch. Red Hair had seen countless women. Although he had not met any of the best ones compared to those he had met before, this Xiaosu was quite amazing. Brother Lu, how is it? Can I get first place? Xiaosu leaned on Redhead's body and asked sweetly. First place? That's already decided. Why don't I give you second place? The red-haired guy was so excited, but he knew that he couldn't delay Yu Xiaochuan's business. If he really made Xiaosu first place, then Yu Xiaochuan would kill him. No way. Brother Lu, where am I bad? It's here, here, and here. As he said that, Xiaosu took Redhead's hand and started to touch his body. This made Redhead feel refreshed again. That Kurlin is already decided. It's not easy to change it. There's an inside story here. Redhead said helplessly. It must be that Brother Lu thinks that the little b** is good, but I'm not bad either. Xiaosu was anxious. He started to use all his skills to serve Redhead. Redhead was on cloud 9 and Xiaosu was still begging, Brother Lu, just let me be first place. Okay. How about this? I promise to give you a chance. I'll get someone to do a blood test later. Redhead thought for a while and said helplessly. He was really defeated. Okay, but why do we still need to do a blood test? Didn't we just do it? I don't have those dirty diseases. Xiaosu said. Actually, first place is a cover. This time my boss asked me to do it. The purpose is to find a blood type. I think it's for blood transfusion? But it needs to be kept a secret, so I organized this event to cover it up. Redhead didn't hide anything and said what he could. Anyway, Xiaosu was at least second place. She knew how she got second place, so she didn't dare to spread it. Hence, Redhead didn't need to hide anything. First place, that Kurlin is suitable. I'm going to give her to my boss tonight. To be honest, I didn't even touch her. If my boss dotes on her tonight, she'll be my sister-in-law in the future. Aya, she'll be your sister-in-law. Can you still do that? Xiaosu winked at Redhead. Okay, I'll get someone to come over. Redhead nodded. He was tempted. Then the blood tests after that were fake? Xiaosu wasn't stupid. He immediately thought of the key point. That's right. After Kurlin's results came out, the rest were all perfunctory. Redhead said, but to make you give up, I'll give you another chance. And then, you can't do it, second place is fine too. Hearing that there was an inside story, Xiaosu also knew that this couldn't be achieved by hard work alone. It depended on luck. Red Hair immediately gave a call to the laboratory technician who had examined Lin Kuer in the morning. This laboratory technician had received a 10,000 yuan reward. Naturally, after receiving the news, he very quickly came to Red Hair's room and also brought along the testing equipment and reagents. Brother Lu, I'm here. The lab worker said flatteringly. Give her a test to see if her blood is up to standard. Red Hair nodded and pointed at Xiaosu. Okay. The lab worker quickly drew Xiaosu's blood and tested it. However, not long after, the lab worker's face showed a shocked expression. What's wrong? Is there something wrong? Redhead saw the lab worker's expression and asked. The technician raised his head and looked at Xiaosu, then at Redhead, and then at the messy results on the bed. His face showed a look of disbelief, and then he said, Brother Lu, this person's blood index is even higher than the previous person. According to the standard, this person is the most suitable. Oh? Is that true? Redhead was stunned. He didn't expect Xiaosu to get it right by a fluke. His index was actually higher than Kurlin's? This really shocked Redhead. It's true. It's here. Brother Lu, you can take a look yourself. The lab worker pointed at the report in his hand and said. As expected. Redhead nodded. He didn't know other medical things, but he specifically learned how to determine the index of a blood test. The goal was to do things well for Yu Xiaochuan. Xiaosu was also very surprised. She didn't expect herself to meet the criteria. Actually, when Redhead said he wanted to do a blood test, she was about to give up. Who knew that she really met the requirements? Brother Lu, if there's nothing else, I'll leave? The lab worker asked. And I'll give you 1,000 yuan for your hard work later. Redhead nodded. Thank you, Brother Lu. The lab worker was overjoyed. He didn't expect to get 1,000 yuan for a trip. He thought he would work for free this time. After all, he already got 10,000 yuan previously. After the lab worker left, Xiaosu pestered Redhead again. Brother Lu, this time I can get first place, right? And let me think. Redhead was thinking about how to tell you Xiaochuan. What are you thinking about? I'm following your boss. I won't forget you. Xiaosu said and buried his head again. Didn't I already meet the requirements? Okay. Redhead felt refreshed and nodded immediately. Hence, half an hour later Redhead called Yu Xiaochuan. Redhead, how is it? Yu Xiaochuan asked. Xiaochuan, there's an accident. Redhead said. Accident? What do you mean? Yu Xiaochuan asked. It's like this. According to the inspection, there's another contestant who meets the blood requirement, Redhead said. Oh, there's another one? That's great. Just right. Give me these two people. It's fine if they're tied for first place. The prize will be 1 million plus 300,000 yuan. The two of them will split it half. Yu Xiaochuan was overjoyed. He couldn't find them if he didn't look for them. When he did, good things came in pairs. Two at once. Because Xiaosu was closer to Redhead, Xiaosu heard everything Yu Xiaochuan said on the phone clearly. Chapter 258. When Xiaosu heard that the first prize would be split in half, she was a little anxious. She didn't want another person to compete with her for attention. Moreover, the money had to be split in half, so she quickly pinched Red Hair. Ah! Red Hair screamed. Red Hair, what's wrong? Yu Xiaochuan was stunned and asked. No, young Master Kun, I just want to say, why don't we just forget about Kerlin? Red Hair said. Forget about it? What? Yu Xiaochuan was a little puzzled. I actually know Kerlin before. After thinking about it, I think it's better not to touch Kerlin. Red Hair said. Don't touch Kerlin? Is she your friend? Yu Xiaochuan asked. No, she is Xiao Chen's woman. Xiao Chen he. Red Hair was about to say that Xiao Chen was nothing, but Xiao Chen's underling was very powerful, and he couldn't be provoked, but Yu Xiaochuan spoke first. What? Xiao Chen's woman? Forget it, then let her get the second prize. Yu Xiaochuan said directly. He didn't want to offend Xiao Chen now. Xiao Chen still had to help him deal with Tang Tang. If he offended Xiao Chen, then it would be bad. If there was no substitute, then Yu Xiaochuan would accept it for the sake of cultivating the chrysanthemum book. If he touched Kerlin, then so be it. But now that there was another choice, why would he touch Kerlin? Wasn't there something wrong with that? Red Hair didn't expect Yu Xiaochuan to be so afraid of Xiao Chen. When he heard Xiao Chen's woman, he directly gave up, but he still said, It's okay, young Master Kun. The second contestant's performance is better than Kerlin's. Really? That's great. Have you talked to her? Is she willing to have the unspoken rules? Yu Xiaochuan asked. Young Master Kun, Brother Lu has already talked to her. She is on standby here, waiting for young Master Kun to have sex with her. Xiaosu said sweetly. Oh? That's great. Red Hair, send her over immediately. Yu Xiaochuan immediately instructed Red Hair with the attitude of not delaying matters. All right, young Master Kun, I'll be right there. Red Hair nodded his head hurriedly, but he was a little reluctant in his heart. One of his hands was pinching Xiaosu's body. After hanging up the phone, Xiaosu gave Red Hair a shove. You idiot, he's already been promoted, how can he forget about you? Don't worry, since you're so powerful, they'll definitely come looking for you often. That's good, haha. Red Hair laughed and said, Let's do it again and I'll send you off. Of course there's no problem. Xiaosu started again. Yu Xiaochuan was overjoyed. He danced with joy at home. Yu Buchuan has appeared out of nowhere and will unite the pugilistic world for thousands of years. However, not long after, Yu Xiaochuan's phone rang. Hello. Yu Xiaochuan picked up the phone. Young Master Kun, I'm little Mo. This Xiao Mo was one of Yu Xiaochuan's underlings in school. He was also a child of a mid-level family, but he was not qualified to be one of the 9 great clans. Oh, little Mo, what's the matter? Yu Xiaochuan asked. Young Master Kun, your fiancé has changed. Little Mo said. Changed? What fiancé? Yu Xiaochuan was stunned. The news that he planned to be engaged to the woman from another province hadn't spread yet, and the matter hadn't been finalized yet. Logically speaking, little Mo shouldn't know. Tang has changed. Little Mo said quickly. Tang? Changed? What changed? When he heard that it was Tang, Yu Xiaochuan lost interest. Her life and death had nothing to do with him. She became beautiful. Little Mo said, she became very beautiful, almost as beautiful as the campus belle, Cheng Menjiang. Became beautiful? Almost as beautiful as Cheng Menjiang? What's with your eyes? Yu Xiaochuan was a little stunned. How is this possible? It's true. She really became beautiful, almost as beautiful as when she was 16 years old? Little Mo said, "Young Master Kun, now the school is in a sensation. Almost as beautiful as when she was 16 years old?" Yu Xiaochuan suddenly opened his mouth. Yu Xiaochuan naturally knew what Tang Tang looked like when she was 16 years old. It couldn't be said that she was more beautiful than Qing Minjing, but she wasn't inferior either. Otherwise, how could Yu Xiaochuan, a leader of the younger generation, fancy Tang Tang? Now, listening to Little Mo said that Tang Tang changed back, Yu Xiaochuan was a little shocked. "Little Mo, are you kidding me? This joke is not funny at all, and today is not April Fool's Day." "Young Master Kun, how would I dare to lie to you?" Little Mo smiled bitterly. "I will send you a picture and you will know." "Oh, okay." Yu Xiaochuan nodded. He waited for a moment and his phone received a picture. Yu Xiaochuan clicked on it and suddenly widened his eyes. "Isn't this Tang Tang?" To be exact, it was the old Tang Tang. However, the old Tang Tang was wearing the loose school uniform of the second high school, appearing on the school playground, and looking at the school background. It should have been taken just now. Did Tang Tang really change back? Yu Xiaochuan took a deep breath. He couldn't believe it, but the picture was right in front of him. He decided to go back to school and verify it himself to see if it was true. "See, young Master Kun, I heard that Tang Tang became like this after a serious illness," Little Mo said. "Okay, I will go to school now." Yu Xiaochuan said quickly. He was thinking, if Tang Tang really changed back, is there still a need for me to break off the engagement? In Yu Xiaochuan's opinion, what he pursued was nothing more than strength, power, and beauty. Strength, when he practiced the chrysanthemum treasure book, then he would have it, and by then, it would be possible for him to become the world's #1. Power, his first goal was to become the leader of the younger generation of the 9 aristocratic families. In the future, he would lead the Yu family to become the leader of the 9 aristocratic families like the Qing family, and then his next goal would be to become a giant family like the Xin family. Beauty, in Yu Xiaochuan's opinion, it was possible to increase the family's strength by marriage, but the marriage partner must be a beauty. He was a picky person. When Tang Tang became ugly, he would rather break off with the Tang family than marry her. But now, Tang Tang changed back. Yu Xiaochuan was a little tempted. In the past, he was very obsessed with Tang Tang. Tang Tang was his first love. Before Tang Tang, he had never really liked any girl. Although after Tang Tang he had played with many women, but in his heart he still had the impression of Tang Tang. He regretted not having the chance to push Tang Tang down, and the current Tang Tang made him no longer interested. However, Tang Tang changed back, and Yu Xiaochuan's heart was a little fanatical. Another key point was that he was not the only one who had the chrysanthemum treasure book. Old Master Tang Fangbai also had it. At that time, if the two of them were to stand on the opposite side, it would not be fun. Both of them were unparalleled, and in the end, both of them would be defeated. Therefore, Yu Xiaochuan had the possibility of turning back to her. Thinking of this, Yu Xiaochuan decided to go back and take a look. If Tang Tang really changed, then he would take her down no matter what. He hoped that Xiao Chen wouldn't make a move so early. If he had already pushed Tang Tang down, then Yu Xiaochuan would regret it. All the way to Ning Second Middle School, Yu Xiaochuan parked the car and saw that Qi Zhigao was driving Xiao Xiao to lunch, so he said, "Hello, Zhigao, are you going out for lunch?" "Oh yeah, young Master Kun." Although Qi Zhigao's address for Yu Xiaochuan didn't change, he was a little impatient in his heart. "Okay, then you go." Yu Xiaochuan was just casually greeting. He was concerned about Tang Tang's affairs, and he was too lazy to talk nonsense with this little brother. Qi Zhigao nodded and got in the car with Xiao Xiao. He cursed in his heart, damn, as if nothing happened. Where's the compensation for my car? Why is there no sign of him? "Xiao Xiao, what do you want to eat?" Qi Zhigao asked attentively. "Anything." Xiao Xiao's mood wasn't very good these days. She heard that the Qing family wanted to unite with her family through marriage. The marriage partner was definitely not her elder brother. Now she was the only one left. However, Xiao Xiao didn't like Qing Mingqiang, so she was very annoyed. "Xiao Xiao, what's wrong with you? Why are you unhappy? Who provoked you? I will help you beat him." Qi Zhigao patted his chest and said, "Beat him, beat him, beat him. You only know how to beat him. What else can you do besides this?" Xiao Xiao glared at Qi Zhigao. "The Qing family came to my house to propose marriage. You beat him?" "Qing family?" Qi Zhigao was stunned. "You went to your house. Is it about your elder brother? Did they go back on their word?" This was Qi Zhigao's first thought. That was, the Qing family knew how powerful Xiao Chen was through Qing Menjing, so they wanted to go back on their word. Or the Qing family knew that it was just an act before. What? It's about me. It seems that Qing Mingxiang likes me, so he asked his grandfather to come to my house to propose marriage. Xiao Xiao said. What should I do? Don't agree with him. Qi Zhigao was shocked and said quickly. Don't agree. Don't agree. Aren't you powerful? Why don't you beat him up? Xiao Xiao snorted. Qi Zhigao, if you are a man and really capable, let the Qi family come to my house to propose marriage. Otherwise, don't come to me in the future. Okay, I'm getting off. Don't bother me. Qi Zhigao saw Xiao Xiao open the door and got off the car. He suddenly clenched his fists and slammed the steering wheel. Didn't he tell the Qi family about his own matters? But he was a person valued by the Qi family. His engagement wasn't up to him. Previously, when he was close to Xiao Xiao, the Xiao family still held an approving attitude. After all, he and Xiao Xiao were childhood sweethearts and grew up together. The Xiao family used to be one of the 4 major aristocratic families. Xiao Feng was the most likely person to break through that realm among the younger generation. If he broke through that realm and was chosen by one of those people, his future would be limitless. That was also the most glorious time of the Xiao family. Even if there was a prodigal wastrel like Xiao Qin, the Xiao family was still the target of flattery. If the Qi family wanted to gain a foothold in Songning City, they must unite with an aristocratic family, and the Xiao family was the best candidate. Chapter 259. However, with the disappearance of Xiao Feng, Xiao Qin was a good-for-nothing. Even if he wasn't kicked out of the Xiao family would be in a state of decline. It would be impossible for the Qi family to take a fancy to such a declining family. Therefore, the Qi family had ordered Qi Zhigao not to have any contact with Xiao Xiao, which made Qi Zhigao miserable. Thinking of Xiao Zhao's words, Qi Zhigao felt like a knife was being twisted in his heart. Qi Zhigao picked up his phone and dialed his grandfather's number. In the Qi family, only his grandfather's words carried enormous weight. Although his father was the acting head of the family, he still needed his grandfather to make decisions on important matters. Zhigao, what's the matter? Old Master Qi answered the phone quickly. Qi Zhigao was his favorite grandson, so every time he answered the phone, his voice was very kind. Grandpa, I've thought about it for a long time. I still like Xiao Xiao. I want to be with her. I can't live without her in this life. Qi Zhigao said what was in his heart. The haze in his heart finally broke out. Oh. Old Master Qi was silent. Although Old Master Qi didn't oppose Qi Zhigao's father's decision to keep Qi Zhigao away from Xiao Xiao, Qi Zhigao grew up with Old Master Qi. Old Master Qi knew Qi Zhigao's character very well. Once he had decided on something, not even 10 bulls could pull him back. No matter what you said, it was useless. Only by changing his own mind could he change it. But now it seemed that his mind hadn't changed. Grandpa, I want to be with Xiao Xiao, Qi Zhigao said firmly. The Xiao family's current situation is like a declining sun. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that. Old Master Qi said, I have some friendship with Xiao Yuanshan, but friendship is friendship, and the family's interest is family's interest. My friendship with him is far from enough for me to take the family's interest to help him. Moreover, our Qi family is in another city. Firstly, it's out of our reach. Secondly, there's no 3rd generation in the Xiao family, which means there's no future. It's useless to help him. The decline of the Xiao family is already a foregone conclusion. Xiao family. Qi Zhigao wanted to say, Grandpa, you're so wise. Can't you see the problem? The Xiao family has declined? What a joke. Look at him in another year. Look at Songning City, who Songning City is. However, he had promised Xiao Chen to keep it a secret for him. Qi Zhigao was such a person. He wouldn't say what he had promised even if you beat him to death. Grandpa, I still insist on my opinion, Qi Zhigao said. Then, have you ever thought that if this is the case, you will have no fate with the position of successor to the young patriarch? The Xiao family won't be able to help you in the future. As for your cousin, Ziyuan, he has a good relationship with Qin Xiaojiao of the Qin family recently. The Qin family is on the rise. Qin Xiaojiao was such a bad girl, but he treated her like a treasure and planned to marry her to the Qin family. Old Master Qi was afraid that he would be too harsh to his brothers and sisters after he became the head of the family. However, Qi Zhigao's character was not very suitable to be the head of the family. He was too indecisive and emotional. Old Master Qi thought that if he could give up Xiao Xiao after careful consideration, he would pass the test. Although a head of the family should have feelings, when it came to the interests of the family, he had to give up personal interests. However, Qi Ziyuan was too ruthless. It would be great if the two could be combined. However, it was difficult to have both sides in the world. It all depended on Qi Zhigao and Qi Ziyuan's choice. During the lunch break, Yu Xiaochuan came to the classroom of grade 3-1, which was Tang Tang and Xiao Chen's classroom. When he saw Tang Tang, his eyes suddenly lit up. Little Imo didn't lie to him. Tang Tang had really returned to her old self. Motherf **Ker, the Xiaochen was really lucky. Yu Xiaochuan was still hesitating whether he should go back to her before he saw Tang Tang in person. But when he saw Tang Tang, he suddenly made up his mind. Tang Tang, you're here. Let's go out for lunch? Yu Xiaochuan walked to Tang Tang elegantly and invited her like a gentleman. Yu Xiaochuan, is there a hole in your brain? Are you going to treat me to lunch? Tang Tang was dazed. Or are you going to treat me and Xiao Chen? Of course I'm treating you. Why would I invite an unrelated person? Yu Xiaochuan didn't seem to hear the doubt and sarcasm in Tang Tang's words. He just said to himself, I'm your fiancé. Do I need a reason to treat my fiancé to lunch? You? Fiancé? Me? Fiancé? Tang Tang's eyes widened. I say, Yu Xiaochuan, can you not be funny? Did you take the wrong medicine today? Did you give me to Xiao Chen? What's wrong with you today? Xiao Chen sat on the side, but he wasn't surprised like Tang Tang. Instead, he was shocked. Is Yu Xiaochuan going back on his words because Tang Tang has become beautiful? It seems that this must be the case. This made Xiao Chen a little uncomfortable. This Yu Xiaochuan is really shameless. How can he say something like fiancé? He gave me money to push Tang Tang down before. Did he forget it in the blink of an eye? This is instant memory loss. Ah, isn't that a joke? How can you believe a joke? The engagement between us is still there, and it hasn't been cancelled. You are my fiancé. This is an unchangeable fact. Yu Xiaochuan said lightly. I say, Yu Xiaochuan, what do you mean? Didn't you give Tang Tang to me? I've already pushed her down and you still want to go back? Xiao Chen couldn't help but speak at this time. Already pushed? Yu Xiaochuan's face changed slightly. He looked at Tang Tang up and down with uncertainty. After a while he said, Xiao Chen, you're lying to me, right? What do you think? Xiao Chen put his arm around Tang Tang's shoulder and held her in his arms. Tang Tang was a little shy, but she didn't struggle. Xiao Chen glanced at Yu Xiaochuan and said, I have to work hard for your money. By the way, when will my bonus be mine? Bonus? I'm joking. Yu Xiaochuan was so angry that his teeth itched. If Xiao Chen hugged the fat girl Tang Tang before, Yu Xiaochuan wouldn't be angry but would be happy, but now. However, Yu Xiaochuan had seen many women and was a martial artist. Looking at Tang Tang's appearance, it didn't seem like she had been pushed, so he calmed down and said, Hee, I don't care about what happened before. I was joking. If you believe it, then it's not your fault. You can say that you are very stupid and naive. Now Tang Tang is going with me. Xiao Chen, you'd better not get involved. It's not good for you. Xiao Chen took a deep breath. He knew that in front of the two giants, the Tang family and the Yu family, he was insignificant. If the Tang family and the Yu family intended to reopen the marriage, then Xiao Chen couldn't do anything to stop them. At this moment, Xiao Chen wanted to kill Yu Xiaochuan and let him go home immediately. However, Xiao Chen finally held back. If he made a move at this moment and Yu Xiaochuan died on the horse, then it would be different from the Sun family. After all, the Sun family was just a small family. Before he replaced the Xie family, it could only be regarded as a small family. However, the Yu family was different. If Yu Xiaochuan, the heir of the Yu family, died, then the Yu family would probably investigate in detail. At that time he would be the first suspect. Chapter 260. When the Sun family's affairs were exposed, he would really die without a burial place. Therefore it was not impossible to kill Yu Xiaochuan, but now was not a good time. Fortunately, Yu Xiaochuan and Tang Tang were only restoring their previous relationship. If Yu Xiaochuan wanted to do something and Tang Tang did not agree, Yu Xiaochuan probably could not do anything. This was the same as Qin Jinping and Xin Jingxian. As long as they were not married, they could not use force. After all, the woman's background was also very powerful. 100 million. Xiao Chen directly stretched out a finger and gestured in front of Yu Xiaochuan. Huh. Yu Xiaochuan's eyes widened and he was suddenly shocked. Even though he looked like a gentleman, he could not help but curse at this moment. Xiao Chen, are you **king crazy because of poverty? Why should I give you money? I have photos. Xiao Chen said lightly, although I did not do it with her, I took a lot of photos of her. When the time comes, Yu Xiaochuan was so angry that his chest heaved. He wanted to slap Xiao Chen to death at this moment. He did not expect that Xiao Chen would make such a condition. Originally he thought that Xiao Chen would be easy to deal with, but this guy was really difficult. He looked at Tang Tang and saw her nodding embarrassedly. Yu Xiaochuan's heart was cold. In his opinion, Tang Tang would not joke with her reputation. This was related to Tang Tang's reputation. He was going crazy. Are you King crazy because of poverty? You dare to say anything? 100 million? Pull out the 9 families of Songning County and ask them one by one. How many of them could come up with 100 million in cash? And he was not the master of the Yu family. Even the master of the family, Master Yu, could not come up with 100 million directly. If you don't agree, then forget it. Then I will continue to be with Tang Tang. Xiao Chen said shamelessly. Okay, let me think about it. A ruthless glint flashed in Yu Xiaochuan's eyes. He definitely couldn't take out 100 million, at least not now. What he was thinking now was whether he could find someone to get rid of Xiao Chen. Or even if he didn't kill Xiao Chen, he would destroy those photos from Xiao Chen's hands. Xiao Chen was now living at Qing Minjing's place, so there was definitely no place to store those photos. It was probably in a camera or laptop in Xiao Chen's house. If he could smash those 2 things into pieces, then he would have nothing to worry about. Take your time to think about it. Xiao Chen also felt Yu Xiaochuan's ruthlessness, but he sneered in his heart. You'd better not have any crooked thoughts. Otherwise, I can only send you on your way in order to protect myself. Yu Xiaochuan left. Tang Tang's face was a little ugly. She sat in her seat, a little unhappy. She ate half of the boxed lunch and stopped eating. Now, with Xiao Chen's financial foundation, they didn't have to eat steamed buns and pickles every day. Xiao Chen could buy some boxed lunches sold at a better school. Although the dishes inside were not as delicious as directly ordered in the cafeteria, the nutrition was also quite rich. You don't want to eat? Xiao Chen saw that Tang Tang still had a lot left. How can I be in the mood to eat? I didn't expect this guy to be such a scumbag. I just became a little more beautiful and he jumped out. Tang Tang was a little depressed. Originally, she was very happy that she became beautiful. This was because she could confess to Xiao Chen boldly and logically. She no longer needed to use her identity as his cousin. But now, Yu Xiaochuan suddenly interfered, which made Tang Tang suddenly understand that her previous idea was just a fantasy. If she really changed back, would the Yu family and the Tang family let her go? Now, Tang Tang hoped that she could return to her previous appearance. It was better to be carefree. Although she and Xiao Chen were just buddies, at least they could be happy together. Gay friends could also be very happy. It was just that the good days were coming to an end. Looking at Yu Xiaochuan's appearance, he didn't want to give up. Tang Tang knew that once the Tang family called, even if she refused, the Tang family might take coercive measures against her. You can't not eat. If you don't eat, I will. Xiao Chen took Tang Tang's boxed lunch and ate it. Puff. Tang Tang listened to the first half of Xiao Chen's words, and she was quite moved. The second half of the sentence she couldn't help but be amused. You still have the mood to eat? If I am caught, I may not be able to go to the morning market with you to sell fried dough sticks. I know. Xiao Chen nodded. He wanted to say that if Tang Tang waited for him, he would snatch her back, but he couldn't say it. He and Tang Tang had always been buddies before. Although they hinted at each other, they didn't confess. Even if Xiao Chen wanted to snatch, what identity would he use to do it? Moreover, how could Xiao Chen snatch? If he was the young master of the Xiao family, he could compete with the Yu family, but now he wasn't. He could only rely on himself for everything. Don't ask him for so much money. I know you want him to give up, but I know Yu Xiaochuan better than you. He isn't a person who gives up easily. His persistence is beyond your imagination. I'm afraid he will do something bad to you. Tang Tang said. Let him be. It's not the first time I've been threatened. Xiao Chen didn't care. At worst he would kill him secretly. It's all your fault, you broken pill. Now. Tang Tang sighed. Maybe we won't see each other for many days? Xiao Chen nodded silently. He wanted to say something, but now all the promises were in vain. His strength hadn't reached it. Xiao Chen once again had a strong desire for strength. If he was now a cultivator at the 7th, 8th, or even 9th level of the Qi refinement stage, would Yu Xiaochuan dare to say no to him? He probably wouldn't even dare to fart. Ha! But rest assured, I'm not a vegetarian. It won't be so easy for Yu Xiaochuan to succeed. Xiao Chen said faintly. And? Tang Tang didn't say anything. Sometimes a person's strength was really insignificant in front of the family. Otherwise, she and Xiao Chen wouldn't be driven out of the family so easily. Qing Minjing sat not far away. She didn't know whether she was happy or sad. Tang Tang was taken back by Yu Xiaochuan, and Xiaochun could concentrate on being her servant. However, she didn't know why the young miss felt a little sad. Perhaps this was the first time that Xiaochun fell in love? Although she heard that he liked Xin Jingxian and Ke Lin before, they didn't get together after all. Tang Tang was with him day and night. Although Xiaochun said that Tang Tang was his buddy, the young miss didn't believe it. A woman's intuition was sometimes very sensitive. At least, Qing Minjing felt that the relationship between the two was not like a simple buddy. There must be an ambiguous relationship. Bei, do you think Yu Xiaochuan will do something bad to Xiaoqun? Qing Minjing also heard that Xiaoqun blackmailed Yu Xiaochuan for 100 million yuan, and she also noticed the murderous aura on Yu Xiaochuan. She couldn't help but ask worriedly. It can't be. My cousin-in-law is a transformer. Xiao Kun is no match for him, Jean Bei said. Ah. I think Xiao Kun is going to be unlucky. You are still laughing. Xiaoqun wasn't so greedy before. He learned it from you. Qing Minjing snorted. She had never seen Xiaoqun care so much about money before. Wherever he went, his first thought was to scam people. He was simply a copy of Jean Bei. I don't think so. My cousin-in-law and Bei are in love, Jean Bei said. What? Qing Minjing's eyes widened. Well, we share the same interests, Jean Bei said. Qing Minjing glared at her. Don't always say ambiguous words. If other people hear it, you won't be able to get married. Well, can I get married now? Jean Bei asked back. Qing Minjing thought about it. It seemed that she really couldn't. Whoever dared to marry a little devil was simply courting death. Anyway, with my cousin-in-law's support, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Jean Bei, however, said matter-of-factly, therefore, cousin Minjing, you have to work hard. Otherwise, if my cousin-in-law runs away, I won't be able to protect him. After Yu Xiaochuan left, there was an evil fire in his chest that he couldn't vent, so he directly called Red Hair. Red Hair, where are you? Hurry up and bring me that girl. Yes. Red Fur was in a good mood and was a little reluctant to leave. However, he had no choice. If he didn't let go, then what awaited him was death. Red Hair and Xiaosu quickly packed up and went to Yu Xiaochuan's villa. At the entrance of the villa, Red Hair and Xiaosu both pretended to be serious, as if they had nothing to do with each other. It was because they both knew that if this matter was leaked, they would be in big trouble. Yu Xiaochuan walked over and glanced at Xiaosu. She was quite a flirtatious girl. He nodded and said to Red Hair, All right, I'll bring her upstairs first. Get my personal doctor here. Later, draw her blood and inject it into my body. There's a phone number on the coffee table. After that, Yu Xiaochuan put his arm around Xiaosu and went upstairs. Although Xiaosu had heard about the blood drawing, she didn't care at all. She already knew about it. Losing some blood in exchange for a huge contract worth more than $1 million a year was really a good deal. After a while, Xiaosu's super loud, "Ah" came from upstairs. Red Hair was tempted by it, but he didn't dare to act rashly. He only followed Yu Xiaochuan's instructions and contacted Yu Xiaochuan's personal doctor. Yu Xiaochuan was a person who paid great attention to maintaining his health. Hence, he and Xiaosu directly fought for 300 rounds. It wasn't until 3 hours later that the two of them came down from upstairs. Red Hair couldn't help but admire young Master Yu Xiaochuan in this aspect. In fact, this was also the reason why Yu Xiaochuan didn't want to castrate himself. If he was a perverted gentleman who indulged in excessive lust, then so be it. However, he was an impregnable man. Wouldn't it be a waste to castrate himself? Although Xiaosu was a bit flirtatious in Yu Xiaochuan's eyes, she was only average. There were too many women that Yu Xiaochuan had played with who were better than her. Although the work was good, it was just SOSO. Hence, Yu Xiaochuan's mind was filled with Tang Tang. As a result, his hatred for Xiaoqun grew even stronger. Chapter 261. Yu Xiaochuan cursed in his heart. Mother Ker, if I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have caused this trouble. It would have been better to let Tang Tang run her own course. Now that Xiaoqun and Tang Tang were together, it was unrealistic to ask him to leave. Young Master Kun, Dr. Yang has been waiting for a long time. Red Hair introduced to Xiaoqun. Oh, okay, let's begin. Yu Xiaochuan nodded. According to the notes, blood transfusion was the most effective method after the fusion. Okay, young Master Kun. The private doctor already knew what to do from Red Hair's explanation. Although he was curious about what Yu Xiaochuan wanted to do, he still followed Red Hair's instructions. After all, he was just a private doctor, and Yu Shaochuan was a martial artist. Maybe he had his own martial artist training method? Although drawing too much blood could cause harm to the body, as long as the amount was controlled each time, it would be fine. Previously, when they were upstairs, Yu Shaochuan had also told Xiaosu that she might have to draw blood a few times, but her reward would be an endorsement contract of more than 5 years. 5 million in 5 years. Naturally, Xiaosu agreed without a second thought. Previously, she was just a peripheral girl. She usually did some peripheral business, and also had a part-time job as a small model. But with the speed at which she earned money, it was a pipe dream to think that she could earn 5 million in 5 years. Under the connection of the equipment, Xiaosu's blood began to slowly flow into Yu Shaochuan's body. Yu Shaochuan quickly followed the method in the notes and started to chant the incantation to fuse the blood into the body. In the next moment, Yu Shaochuan felt extremely magical. It was as if the blood in his body was boiling at this moment. Xiaosu's blood and his blood began to fuse and become a brand new blood. This feeling made Yu Shaochuan extremely comfortable, and he almost cried out. This was 100 times better than when he was upstairs. And there seemed to be some element in the blood that was rapidly being absorbed by him. The speed of the blood transfusion was very slow because Yu Shaochuan had to fully absorb it. So Yu Shaochuan only completed the first blood transfusion in the evening. After the blood transfusion, Yu Shaochuan felt full of energy, and his body condition was very good. It seemed that it was really effective. Yu Shaochuan nodded his head and pointed at little Su with his thumb and middle finger. He said to Red Hair, "Help me get some good dishes for little Su to nourish himself tonight. I'm going to the Tang family to discuss some matters." After Yu Shaochuan finished speaking, he went out and drove to the Tang family's house. Hong Mao was overjoyed. He could have an affair now. After sending off the private doctor, Red Hair carried Xiaosu into the guest room. Actually, the amount of blood that had been extracted from Xiaosu was not a lot. It was just about the same as the amount of blood donated. Therefore, he was just a little weak and did not seem to have any abnormalities. This was the third time Yu Shaochuan had come to the Tang family's front door. The last 2 times Yu Shaochuan came to the Tang family, he had to let the guard announce his arrival. However, this time the guard politely and respectfully greeted Yu Shaochuan. "Young Master Tang is here. Please come in." Old Master Tang said that you don't need to announce your arrival. You can go in directly to find him. After Yu Shaochuan heard the guard's words, he was obviously stunned. What was going on? Why are you calling me young son-in-law again? Don't you need to inform me? But on the surface he still maintained his composure and said, "Okay, then I'll go in directly." Sure enough, when Yu Shaochuan walked in, the guard did not stop him. He still had a smile on his face. Obviously what they said was true and they were not lying. When Yu Shaochuan came in, Tang Fangbai received a call from the guard. Although he was a little curious as to why Yu Shaochuan was here today, he was still a little expectant when he thought that there might be news about the other bowl. Shaochuan greets old Master Tang. Yu Shaochuan came to the living room and bowed very politely. "Well, Shaochuan, I wonder why you're here today? Is it about the engagement with Tang Tang? When are you guys planning to get married?" Tang Fangbai saw Yu Shaochuan and said with a faint smile. He was using Tang Tang's engagement to pressure Yu Shaochuan so that he could find the other bowl as soon as possible. Although Tang Fangbai also knew that it was not very realistic, it was always good to give Yu Shaochuan a little pressure. In fact, it's not a big deal. "Grandpa, I'm here to discuss with you when I'll get married to Tang Tang." Yu Shaochuan nodded and said with a smile. "What?" Tang Fangbai's face suddenly became extremely shocked. He couldn't believe that Yu Shaochuan would follow his words and said, "Yu Shaochuan, you said, you want to get married to Tang Tang? Is this true?" In Tang Fangbai's view, Yu Shaochuan would definitely find a way to find a bowl for him, but he did not expect that Yu Shaochuan would directly agree. This made Tang Fangbai a little confused and didn't know what to say. Did Yu Shaochuan deliberately say this to annoy me, or did he start to give up because he couldn't find a bowl? "Yes, Grandpa Tang, which day do you think is good? Tang Tang and I have known each other since childhood, and we are a good match. What do you think, Grandpa?" Yu Shaochuan said with a very sincere look. "Yu Shaochuan, let's not beat around the bush. Don't play tricks with me. Don't you want to break off the engagement with Tang Tang?" Tang Fangbai frowned after listening. He knew Yu Shaochuan's previous thoughts better than anyone else. Tang Fangbai didn't know what Yu Shaochuan was doing today. Hee, Grandpa Tang, you really know how to joke. My marriage with Tang Tang was discussed and decided by the Yu family and the Tang family together. How could I break off the engagement? Let's talk about when we will get married. Yu Shaochuan said this with a smile as if it was really the matter. After listening to Yu Shaochuan's inexplicable words, Tang Fangbai was very unhappy. He was about to speak, but at this time, a person from the Tang family walked in quickly. Tang Fangbai glanced at him and didn't stop him. This person was his trusted butler, and he had followed Tang Fangbai for decades. It was not easy for him to come in such a hurry. "Old Jing, what's the matter?" Tang Fangbai asked. "Old master, it's like this." Old Jing whispered into Tang Fangbai's ear. Tang Fangbai's face suddenly changed, and then he revealed a look of realization. At this moment he finally knew what Yu Shaochuan was here for. "All right, old Zhang, you can leave." Tang Fangbai waved his hand and then with a lazy look he looked at Yu Shaochuan with a faint smile. "I say, Yu Shaochuan, your plan is quite good. When you saw that my granddaughter was ugly you didn't want her. Now that she's beautiful you want her again. Isn't that wrong?" "Grandpa Tang must be joking. Tang Tang has always been my fiancé. We haven't broken off the engagement, so why would I want her?" Yu Shaochuan's heart trembled. It seemed that Tang Fangbai already knew about Tang Tang's change. However, he was not in a hurry. Other than the restriction of the engagement, he still had other trump cards. "Back then you wanted to separate, so we separated. Now you want to use true love to coax me back. No way." Grandfather Tang scoffed. "But you know what I like. I wonder if you found the other bowl?" "Hee hee," Yu Shaochuan gave a faint smile. He suddenly reached out and grabbed Grandfather Tang's crotch. "Ah!" Grandfather Tang was shocked as he screamed and broke free. "Yu Shaochuan, what are you doing? You have no respect for your elders." "What? I don't agree to your relationship with Tang Tang. Are you going to hit me because of your embarrassment? To think that you would resort to such a dirty move. To think that you are the leader of the younger generation, a true gentleman. Even after I grabbed you, Grandfather Tang is still fine. You really are a man of steel." Yu Shaochuan looked at Grandfather Tang with a faint smile. Or, could it be that Grandfather Tang doesn't even have that thing? "Yu Shaochuan, what do you mean by that? If you want to talk about this nonsense, then get lost." Tang Fangbai was furious. "Nonsense? Indeed, Grandfather Tang, you don't have it. I wonder if you cut it off yourself or something. But that's not important anymore. You are already so old and have so many children and grandchildren. You don't have any use for that thing anymore. If you cut it off, then so be it," Yu Shaochuan said, minding his own business. "Yu Shaochuan, if there's nothing else, then get out. You are not welcome here." Tang Fangbai was furious. "Fine, Grandfather Tang, I will be leaving now. You can stay at home and practice the chrysanthemum treasure book. I believe that as a branch of the Tang family of Sichuan, if others find out that you are an evil cultivator, ha ha," Yu Shaochuan said as he walked out. "Stop right there." Grandfather Tang was shocked and immediately shouted. "What is it, Grandfather Tang? Is there anything else? Didn't you tell me to get lost?" Yu Shaochuan said calmly. "Get back here." Grandfather Tang took a deep breath and asked, "What nonsense are you talking about? What chrysanthemum treasure book? What do you mean?" "What do I mean? I don't know either," Yu Shaochuan said, "but I won't be able to come back. I'm sorry, I've already left." These words were similar to what Grandfather Tang had said to him. Who would have thought that Yu Shaochuan would directly respond? "Yu Shaochuan, sit down. Let's have a good talk." Grandfather Tang was now more or less certain that Yu Shaochuan knew something. Perhaps he had already found the other bowl. "Talk. Fine, you are my fiancé's grandfather. I can't not give you face, right? If you are an outsider, I will just leave, right?" Yu Shaochuan looked at Tang Fangbai and asked. "Yes." Tang Fangbai's expression changed slightly. He knew that Yu Shaochuan was threatening him, but he still nodded his head. He had no choice, Yu Shaochuan had something on him. He could only calm down and ask, "Yu Shaochuan, how did you know about the chrysanthemum treasure book? Grandfather Tang, you haven't heard of it? If you don't want others to know about it, then don't do it." Yu Shaochuan said calmly. He thought to himself, "Old thing, I knew you would give in." Chapter 262. "Oh, you found the other bowl?" "Yes, it is indeed the mantra of the chrysanthemum treasure book. I think you already know it." Tang Fangbai nodded his head. He didn't hide it anymore and spoke bluntly. He also knew that it was meaningless to say anything else. "No, but I checked the half of the bowl that you asked me to take a picture of, Grandpa Tang. There are magic characters on it. It's the chrysanthemum treasure book." Yu Shaochuan didn't beat around the bush anymore. Tang Fangbai nodded and said helplessly, "Sure enough, I can't fool you. You still found out. But you Xiaochuan, don't tell me you also want to cultivate? Your purpose of coming here is not actually for Tang Tang, is it? It's just an excuse. Don't tell me your real intention lies in the bar? That's not it. I really came for Tang Tang. This is one of them. Yu Xiaochuan nodded and said, but I want to see the other half bowl, or you can directly give me the translated content. So this is your purpose. Tang Fongbai's face was a little uncertain. He was thinking about the consequences of this matter. However, it seemed that he had to agree to Yu Xiaochuan's request. After all, Yu Xiaochuan had something on him. The Tang family and the Yu family were both branches of the wealthy, and there were also their own big families above them. These two families were at the same level as the Shin family. They belonged to the leading families of the righteous sections. If it was really revealed that Tang Fongbai cultivated the chrysanthemum treasure book, he was afraid that the Tang family would not need to trouble him. Of course, if the divine art was cultivated to a certain level, Tang Fongbai would not be afraid. Even if the Tang family knew, so what? At that time, it would be easy for him to be independent and establish the new Tang family. So, Grandpa Tang, do you want to cooperate with me? Yu Xiaochuan said with a smile. If you also cultivate, then why are you with Tang Tang? Do you want Tang Tang to be a widow for the rest of her life? Tang Fongbai looked at Yu Xiaochuan and asked. Aha, of course I will not castrate myself. That is stupid. Yu Xiaochuan laughed and then took out the notes he got. He shook it twice in front of Tang Fongbai and said, do you want to see? Let's exchange. Alright. Although he was a little annoyed that Yu Xiaochuan said that castrating oneself was an idiot, he had to admit that the notes in Yu Xiaochuan's hands attracted him. Tang Fongbai had already made his decision. It was not a loss to exchange half a bowl for the notes. Even if Yu Xiaochuan didn't take out the notes, Tang Fongbai would still have to compromise in the end. After all, he needed Yu Xiaochuan to keep it a secret. Now, it seemed that Yu Xiaochuan becoming his grandson-in-law was the best choice. Tang Fongbai took out the half bowl and the translated chrysanthemum treasure book. He placed them on the tea table in front of him and said, it's all here. Everyone knows what kind of people you and I are. Let's take a look. No problem. Yu Xiaochuan breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Tang Fongbai had agreed to his proposal, and marrying Tang Tang had become a matter of course. Both of them sat down and quietly looked at the information provided by the other party. To be honest, Tang Fongbai was a little regretful, especially when he saw that he could succeed without castration. He regretted being a little too anxious. If he had waited for Yu Xiaochuan, he wouldn't have had to castrate himself. Although at his age the Tang family didn't need him to carry on the family line, he still kept that thing and occasionally found a model. Although it was for the sake of strength, it was better not to lose it if it was not necessary. Have you found the Lady of Mysterious Een? Tang Fongbai was a little surprised. He suddenly remembered the talent show that the Yu family made these days. Past the talent show? Grandpa Tang is so smart. Yu Xiaochuan nodded and said, I found it, but it's a pity that Grandpa Tang can't use it. Otherwise, I can lend it to Grandpa Tang when I'm done with it. Tang Fongbai began to regret again. The other cultivation explanations are good. Can I make a copy? Tang Fongbai asked. Yes, same to you. Yu Xiaochuan also wanted to copy the mantra on the remaining half of the bowl. So both of them took what they needed. After all this was done, Yu Xiaochuan left. The two of them now had a tacit understanding that they couldn't let anyone know that they were practicing the chrysanthemum treasure book. Otherwise, first, someone would rob it. Second, they were all from the famous sections. As for Tang Tang's matter, just do as you said, Tang Fongbai said. Thank you, Grandpa Tang. Yu Xiaochuan nodded and suddenly thought of an important thing. By the way, Grandpa Tang Xiaochuan said that he took pornographic photos of Tang Tang. What do you think about this? Solve the trouble you caused yourself. Didn't you ask Xiaochuan to pursue Tang Tang? Don't think that I don't know anything. Tang Fongbai snorted coldly. Okay. Yu Xiaochuan was shocked. It seemed that he had to rely on himself. He couldn't count on Tang Fongbai. From the news that Tang Fongbai knew that Tang Tang had changed back, the Tang family also had informants in the second high school. So, he couldn't hide the fact that Xiao Chen's pursuit of Tang Tang was secretly instructed by him. Thinking of this, he was a little depressed. Xiao Chen was really greedy. He asked for 100 million yuan. Yu Xiaochuan planned to bargain with him. To Tang Tang and Xiao Chen's surprise, in the afternoon, someone from the Tang family sent a message to Tang Tang, telling her to pay attention to her image in the future. She was Yu Xiaochuan's fiancée. She shouldn't be ambiguous with Xiao Chen. That would be bad for her reputation, the reputation of the Tang family, and the Yu family. Tang Tang wanted to refute, but the person was just a servant who passed the message. It was completely useless for Tang Tang to argue with him. I guess you Xiaochuan will start with my family. Tang Tang shrugged and said helplessly, I guess the next step is to let me go back to the Tang family. I don't want to go back. I'll help you think of a way. In fact, Xiaochuan also knew that the only way he could think of was to delay the time. If the Tang family and the Yu family really wanted to get engaged, it could only be delayed for a while but not for a lifetime. Well? Tang Tang nodded and looked at Xiaochuan. She wanted to say, let's elope, okay? But she didn't say it in the end. She and Xiaochuan had always been brothers. Although she vaguely felt that Xiaochuan might have a little idea about her, or a little idea about her cousin, neither of them pointed it out. She didn't point it out before, so now it was even more inappropriate to say anything. Moreover, Tang Tang was also afraid that if she said it, Xiaochuan would refuse, or he would not refuse to take care of her face, which would make things difficult for Xiaochuan. After all, in Tang Tang's view, the person Xiaochuan liked was always Cheng Menjing. No matter whether Xiaochuan admitted it or not, he worked as a servant for Cheng Menjing every day was enough to prove this point. Otherwise, with Xiaochuan's self-reliant income, he didn't have to look at Cheng Menjing's face at all. What's more, sometimes it was not possible to elope if one wanted to. Let's not talk about whether Xiaochuan could leave or not. Even if he left, the Yu family and the Tang family were not to be trifled with. Outside of Songning City, there was still the main family of the Yu family and the Tang family. If the Tang family and the Yu family asked the main family for help, then Tang Tang and Xiaochuan would really be unable to escape. Xiaochuan was also a little depressed. He didn't expect that a good thing would bring so many negative effects. He regretted detoxifying Tang Tang. But if he didn't detoxify, Tang Tang's life would be in danger. This was really a contradictory problem. Tomorrow. Will you still come to the morning market to sell fried dough sticks? Tang Tang couldn't help but ask after school. Well, if you are here, I will be here. Xiaochuan said. Tang Tang nodded, and a happy smile appeared on her face. She knew that the days were numbered. Every day that passed was one day less. She would cherish these last days with Xiaochuan very much. In the afternoon, Tang Tang also thought it through. The children of aristocratic families were all like this. They were all marriage tools in the hands of the family. Tang Tang knew that she could not resist in any way. It was just like if Xiaochuan was not driven out of the Xiao family, Cheng Menjing could not resist marrying Xiaochuan in any case. The aristocratic families retained the old custom of valuing men over women. Men still had a choice, while women only had the fate of being chosen. Of course, there were exceptions such as Jean Bebe. Of course, this was generally a special case. It was relatively rare. It was good to have such a person in an aristocratic family in a city. The two of them parted ways. Zheng Xiaoquan walked over silently, patted Xiaochuan's shoulder and sighed. Xiaoquan? Why are you here? Xiaochuan was a little surprised. To be honest, Child Xiao, I was optimistic that you and Tang Tang would be together because your identity and background are similar. Both of you were abandoned by the family. But I didn't expect. Well, let's not talk about it. I don't have that fate. I didn't expect that you wouldn't either. Zheng Xiaoquan was a little unhappy. If Tang Tang likes you Xiaochuan, it would be fine. But she doesn't like him. We can't do anything about it, can we? Although Xiaochuan had some plans in his mind, he could not tell Zheng Xiaoquan. Yes. If you were to return to the Xiao family, it would be possible. But now, Zheng Xiaoquan was a little helpless. Forget it. I'm going back. After that, Zheng Xiaoquan left, leaving Xiaochuan looking at his back silently. To be honest, Zheng Xiaoquan was a good man. Xiaochuan had a good impression of him. He liked Tang Tang, but he didn't think about how to possess her. Instead, he wanted her to live a happy life. Xiaochuan knew that he couldn't do it. If he liked something, he would grab it. If someone stood in his way, he would fight to the death. Xiaochuan knew that he wasn't a kind person, and the way he acted was even more hedonistic. Therefore, even if the things he did were to be exposed, no one would think that it was inappropriate. After all, Xiaochuan had the same personality in the past. Shaking his head, Xiaochuan quickly ran toward the pharmacy. Today was the day to buy medicine again. Chapter 263. Xiaochuan felt that he was spending money like water. Fortunately, he had enough money for medicinal herbs. He just didn't know where to get spiritual jades, which seemed to be very rare. After walking for a while, a red Land Rover stopped beside Xiaochuan. Brother, get in the car. Xiaochuan turned his head and saw that it was Qi Zhigao. Are you crazy? How can you talk to me like that? Xiao Qin glared at him. Ah, there's no one here. Qi Zhigao was stunned and immediately reacted. Xiao Zhao's brother is useless. I heard that you're very powerful recently. Get in the car and let's talk. Xiao Qin got in the car. Although there was no one nearby, what if there was? With Qi Zhigao's realm, he couldn't detect anyone nearby. Be careful next time. Don't look for me if there's nothing. Text me if there's anything. Okay, brother. Qi Zhigao nodded quickly. What's the matter? I'm busy. Xiao Qin said impatiently. Brother, it's like this. You have to help brother-in-law. Qi Zhigao said and told Xiao Qin about the Qing family's marriage proposal and his family's plan to let his brother Qi Ziyuan be the heir of the young master because of Xiao Xiao. Oh, I can't help you with the first thing. You have to hurry up. Although I'm her brother, I can't interfere with who Xiao Xiao likes. Xiao Qin listened and said, secondly, you don't have to worry about Qin Xiaojiao. The Qin family is finished. As for the Xiao family, you know. Yes. I know, the moment Big Brother reveals his identity, that's when the Xiao family will rise. The Qin family and the Qing family are all F***ers. Qi Zhigao nodded quickly. Qing Minjing is quite good. Xiao Qin was more protective of the young miss. Yes, sister-in-law is a good person. Qi Zhigao knew that he said something wrong. I'm talking about Qing Mingqiang, that idiot. He dares to steal my woman. Brother, kill him. Alright, you came looking for me just for this? Xiao Qin asked. Actually, it's about this matter. I don't have enough courage, so I'm trying to find some self-confidence from my big brother. Qi Zhigao was a little embarrassed. Xiao Qin was speechless. Alright, I'm leaving. Text me if you need anything. Brother, take care. I'm full of confidence now, said Qi Zhigao. Xiao Qin left and went to the pharmacy, only to see that Hong Zhu was not alone in the pharmacy. There was also a middle-aged old man with white hair and a youthful complexion. He was dressed in a medicinal robe and seemed to be a very powerful doctor or pharmacist. Walking into the pharmacy, Xiao Qin did not know the identity of this old man. He only said, I want the same prescription as last time. Little brother, you're here? Hong Zhu looked at Xiao Qin and blinked at him with her large, electrifying eyes. Big sister was just talking about you. I didn't expect you to show up. Me? Xiao Qin was slightly taken aback. That prescription, was it you who wanted it? The middle-aged old man next to Hong Zhu suddenly asked. Xiao Qin did not expect him to ask such a question. However, it seemed that since Hong Zhu had told this matter to this old man should be on the same side as Hong Zhu. Otherwise, Xiao Qin did not think that Hong Zhu would be so stupid as to tell anyone. Yes, Xiao Qin did not deny it. Are you a demonic cultivator? The old man asked again. More or less, Xiao Qin answered ambiguously. This prescription, did your sect give it to you, or? The old man nodded and looked at Xiao Qin expectantly. I can't say, Xiao Qin said. Haha, it doesn't matter. The old man suddenly smiled and said, Little friend, can I grab a copy of this prescription of yours and take it back to study it? Xiao Qin was a little surprised to hear this old man's words. Although this prescription was his, Hong Zhu knew about it. If this old man wanted to study it, there was no need for him to tell Xiao Qin anything. He could have just secretly grabbed a copy and studied it. Why would he need to ask Xiao Qin? As if noticing Xiao Qin's surprise, the old man said, I, Lu Fangzhen, have always been open and aboveboard. Although I know about this prescription, it is yours. As a doctor, protecting one's privacy is a part of one's professional ethics. If you don't agree, I won't study it. Oh, as you wish. Xiao Qin was a little shocked. He did not expect this old man to be such an upright person. Since that was the case, Xiao Qin could not refuse. However, even if he took this prescription to study, he would not be able to find out anything. Okay, then I won't be polite. Lu Fangzhen nodded. However, I won't spread it, so you can rest assured. I just like to study prescriptions. Xiao Qin was stunned. He did not expect Lu Fangzhen to say that. In fact, he was not afraid of studying it. If he was afraid of being exposed, he would have gone to many pharmacies to buy it in batches. After all, the effect of this prescription had to be used in conjunction with the mental cultivation method. Moreover, there were very strict requirements for the time and temperature of the decoction. Any more or less would affect the effect. As for the treatment and detoxification, that was an additional effect. The dregs had to be used more than 3 times in order to treat the disease and detoxify it. If the dregs were used the first 3 times, the disease would worsen and the worst case would be death. Therefore, Xiao Qin was not particularly worried. He was just a little curious about the identity of the old man in front of him. Could it be that he was similar to Grandpa Qin? That was Hong Yan's teacher. Was this Hong Zhu's teacher? Previously, Xiao Chen thought that Grandpa Chen was Hong Yan's biological grandfather, but the two had different surnames. Therefore, after thinking about it, Xiao Chen guessed that he was Hong Yan's teacher. It doesn't matter. Xiao Chen shook his head and said, however, can you give me a discount for today's medicinal herbs? Then I will give you a medicinal herb. Lu Fangzhen smiled and said, of course you can also choose to let me owe you a favor. If you think that the value of a favor is just a medicinal herb, then I will choose a medicinal herb, said Xiao Chen. Haha. Lu Fangzhen could not help but laugh after hearing this. Little Hongzhu, this Xiao Chen is really a bit interesting. But he is right. A favor from me, Lu Fangzhen, 3 million is too cheap. Then this medicinal herb will be given to you. You can owe me a favor first. Grandpa Lu, you have been fooled by him. Hongzhu curled her lips. 3 million is gone just like that. It won't be your medicinal herb anymore. Why are you so stingy? Lu Fangzhen shook his head helplessly. Xiao Chen was very puzzled. The relationship between these two was different from that between Hong Yan and Grandpa Chen. Hong Yan and Grandpa Chen were teacher and student, but Hongzhu and Lu Fangzhen were not very similar. Who is this Grandpa Lu? Xiao Chen looked at Hongzhu. Oh, he is a pharmacist at the headquarters of my family's pharmacy. He can also be considered my first teacher, Hongzhu said. You don't respect your teacher. Lu Fangzhen was so angry that he glared at him. Look at your sister. That old Chen's level is not as high as mine, but she still respects him. Then you can be my sister's teacher, Hongzhu said. Haha, I can't stand her obedient personality. Lu Fangzhen shook his head. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. They really are master and disciple, but they are a pair of clowns. Hongzhu grabbed the medicinal herbs. Xiao Chen was about to leave when Lu Fangzhen suddenly said, Chen Iota 4, Sun Rongjin, and Sun Rongqin were all killed by you? Xiao Chen's heart suddenly trembled. His footsteps paused, and he turned around with a somewhat unnatural expression. Grandpa Lu, what are you talking about? What do you mean I killed them? Xiao Chen was a little confused about the relationship between Lu Fangzhen and the Sun family. That medicine master's son was also a pharmacist. Could this Lu Fangzhen be his teacher? If he was here for revenge, then he would be out of luck. Little Hongzhu has already told me, so you don't need to hide it. Although I am a pharmacist, I don't know the Sun family, and I have no relationship with medicine master's son. The Warriors Market disqualified the Sun family as a supplier because of us, Lu Fangzhen said. Xiao Chen was a little surprised. It turned out that the Warriors Market disqualified the Sun family as a supplier because of Lu Fangzhen? However, the Warriors Market Square actually offended Alchemist's son for Lu Fangzhen. Lu Fangzhen's rank and qualifications were probably much higher than Alchemist's son's. Otherwise, the Warriors Market Square wouldn't have given him so much face. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen couldn't help but be moved. In the past, the Xiao family was very respectful to Medicine Master Sunday. At that time, Medicine Master Sun would not say much to him. He only snorted and didn't even bother to pay attention to Xiao Chen. But now, a powerful pharmacist who was even more powerful than Medicine Master Sun, who even the Warriors Market had to show respect to, was talking and laughing in front of Xiao Chen. Moreover, he even owed Xiao Chen a favor. This made Xiao Chen sigh. Life was really unpredictable. The Xie family's flattery, Medicine Master Lu's favor, and Jean Bei's friendship were things that Xiao Chen dared not think about in the past. If he had any of them, he would not be called a loser anymore. Everyone had their own role. Even if Xiao Chen could not cultivate, if he could get a powerful ally or helper for the Xiao family, no one would look down on him anymore. Not only would they not look down on him, but they would also be envious. But now, the Xie family, which the Xiao family originally wanted to flatter, actually flattered Xiao Chen. So you don't have to worry. I'm on the same side as little Hongzhu, LV Fangzhen said. I'm very puzzled. How did you make them all die from horsewind? Did you drug them? No, I did something to his Xinshui acupoint. As for the specific method, I can't tell you. This time, Xiao Chen didn't hide it anymore. Anyway, the other party had already guessed it, so there was no point in hiding it. I see. LV Fangzhen nodded in understanding. Suddenly, his eyes became bright and full of expression. Something wrong with the Xinshui acupoint will indeed cause horsewind to break out. But you actually did something to the acupoints of a human body. I'm afraid your medical knowledge is not low, right? You are also a pharmacist, right? Xiao Chen couldn't help but smile bitterly. What kind of pharmacist am I? The soul immortal in me looks down on pharmacists. Chapter 264. However, to say that he was a pharmacist, he could barely be counted as one. Anyway, a cultivator was omnipotent and awesome. You don't have to deny it. Tang Tang was cured by you, right? LV Fangzhen did not give Xiaoqin a chance to explain, but continued to say, you bought the Tianqing grass to prescribe medicine for Tang Tang, right? As for the other medicinal materials, although I don't know where you bought them from, they should be leftovers from the medicinal materials you bought before. I understand that there are some useless medicinal materials in your prescription. After all, pharmacists don't want their prescriptions to be leaked. Xiaoqin was a little speechless. He really didn't do anything. These medicinal materials were so expensive, who had spare money to buy more? LV Fangzhen thought he was smart. However, Xiaoqin did not refute and just said, did you investigate me? Of course, a devil cultivator suddenly appeared in Songning City. Little Hongzhu and I naturally have to pay attention to it. LV Fangzhen did not deny it and directly admitted it. His straightforwardness surprised Xiaoqin. However, he also felt LV Fangzhen's straightforwardness. This person should not be so crooked. Sort of. Xiaoqin nodded. Now I'm wondering who your master is to be able to teach such a powerful pharmacist at your age. You know, even I dare not say that I can cure Tang Tang, but you cured her, said LV Fangzhen. She hasn't been cured, but it's just a temporary solution, Xiaoqin said. I know, it's her physical problem. LV Fangzhen nodded. I mean no harm. Let's discuss it when we have time. There's no end to learning. Although you are powerful, there should be something about me that you don't understand, so why don't you think about it? On the side, Hongzhu was a little surprised. Although LV Fangzhen often behaved like an old urchin, he had a deep attainment on the path of pharmacist. Now that he said so, it showed that Xiaoqin really had a lot of means. However, what made Hongzhu puzzled was that Xiaoqin was a hedonistic son of the Xiao family. He had never left Songning City for more than a decade, and had always been a nameless hedonistic wastrel. It was only after he was kicked out of the Xiao family that he secretly revealed some strength that didn't match his original identity. This person had truly concealed himself too deeply. Hongzhu could not help but admire him. Moreover, Xiaoqin's willpower was unprecedentedly strong. Hongzhu was truly becoming more and more interested in Xiaoqin. However, after investigating 8 generations of Xiaoqin's ancestors, other than the fact that Xiaoqin's mother was of unknown origin and had disappeared when Xiaoqin was very young, there was nothing special about Xiaoqin's resume. He was completely a brainless, arrogant and profligate son of a rich family. Oh, alright, we'll talk about it when we have time. Xiaoqin took a deep breath. He was neither happy nor sad. He knew that although the road he was walking now seemed smooth, it was full of thorns. Tang Tang Shinjingxian. Xiaoqin did not want to give up. However, to take them all into his room, let alone the current Xiaoqin, even the previous Xiaoqin could not do it. The Xiao family was not as powerful as the Xin family. Even if the Xin family was such a powerful existence, the children of the Xin family might not dare to say that they could let women of the same family serve with others. Xiaoqin found that he really dared to think. In the past, when he had just been kicked out of the family, even when he had just become a cultivator, Xiaoqin did not dare to think about these things. But now Xiaoqin actually had such thoughts. He shook his head. Xin Jingxian was a little too far away. Even the current Tang Tang was not someone that the current Xiaoqin could pursue. Now that his identity was exposed, even if he had LV Fangzhen's favor, the Xie family's flattery and the Jin family's support, it might not be enough to make the Tang family and the Yu family submit. After all, Old Master Tang and Old Master Yu were not to be trifled with. Moreover, most of Xiaoqian's current abilities were based on the unknown. The Xie family and LV Fangzhen treated him like this only because of the abilities that Xiaoqin had displayed. Once this ability was not enough to make others fear him, would they still treat him like this? Xiaoqin was not sure and he did not dare to take the risk. There was still no news from his father, and the White Fox and the Warriors Guild did not have much interaction. It would be extremely difficult to investigate this matter. He could only wait for news from Xin Jingxian. If I am not here, ask little Hongzhu to inform me and I will appear, LV Fangzhen said. Why does it sound like Aladdin's magic lamp? Xiaoqin said. It's about time. I will be here in a whoosh, LV Fangzhen said. Xiaoqin felt that this person was a little crazy, so he left. After leaving the pharmacy, before Xiaoqin reached home, he received a call from Qin Jinpeng. Boss Xiaoqin, it's me Jinpeng. Qin Jinpeng said. A little shed. What's up? Xiaoqin guessed that there was an 80% chance that there was news about the spiritual jade. Sure enough, Qin Jinpeng said, Lin Chao has agreed to the bet with the ancient jade, and he has brought the ancient jade. So, tomorrow afternoon we will have a race at the Maliwan construction site. 2 wins out of 3, how about that? Of course, 3 wins out of 5 is fine as well, but it depends on boss Xiaoqin. Oh, okay, let's talk about it then, Xiaoqin said faintly. If the ancient jade is not good, let alone 3, you won't even have 1. Ah, don't worry. I have brought a few pieces of ancient jade. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. Qin Jinping laughed. Okay, see you tomorrow, Xiaoqin agreed. By the way, do you want to invite Qing Menjing? Qin Jinping asked. This was requested by Chao Yuliang. Okay. Xiaoqin did not refuse. Even if he did not bring her, young mistress and Jean Beibei would come to join in the fun. Then I won't bother Xiaoqin. After getting a positive answer, Qin Jinping was relieved and relieved. When Xiaoqin returned to the villa, Jean Beibei was also there. Today was Friday, so Jean Beibei stayed here and did not need to go back at night. As soon as he entered the door, he heard Jean Beibei and Yi Xiaoya talking about something. Then Yi Xiaoya went upstairs angrily and Qing Menjing was in high spirits. Xiaoqin thought, it turns out that a proud woman can also be two-faced. If Jean Beibei does not come, perhaps Qing Menjing will suffer a loss. Xiaoqin, I want to eat delicious food with extra ingredients. You can make it for me, Qing Menjing said. Okay. Xiaoqin did not say anything. It was quite interesting to serve young mistress. In the past, Xiaoqin did not have the chance to cook for her even if he wanted to. Chao Yuliang must be jealous of him. Xiaoqin, why are you so spineless? Yi Xiaoya could not help but mock when she heard the conversation between Qing Menjing and Xiaoqin halfway up the stairs. Yi Xiaoya, why are you so meddlesome? Jean Beibei said. Yi Xiaoya thought for a while. Yeah, this has nothing to do with me. I'm just... She shook her head and went upstairs. By the way, I'm going to race with Li Shanbao's junior Lin Chao at the construction site of Maliwan tomorrow afternoon, Xiaoqin said. Are you guys going? Of course. Come on, cousin-in-law, Jean Beibei said excitedly. Why did you agree to race with them? Don't you know that you won't die if you don't court death? Don't you know that they want to kill you? Qing Menjing was furious after hearing what Xiaoqin said. They won't kill me if I don't race? At least I know that and it's still within my control. After all, I'm good at racing. If it's something else such as assassination, I won't be able to deal with it, Xiaoqin said with a bitter smile. Although Qing Menjing felt that what Xiaoqin said was fallacious, it seemed to make sense. Yeah, that's right. Cousin-in-law, you're using your strengths to make up for your weaknesses. You're using what you're good at to deal with the enemy. Jean Beibei said. Kill that Lin Chao and he won't be so arrogant anymore. Hee, how can you kill him so easily? If you kill him, he'll come to me for revenge, Xiaoqin said as he glanced at Jean Beibei. Then kill him secretly just like Li Shanbao, Jean Beibei said. Didn't Li Shanbao die in an accident while driving? Qing Menjing asked curiously. Right. Jean Beibei nodded. That's what I mean. Let's pray that Lin Chao dies while driving. Okay. Qing Menjing always felt obedient. At night, after Xiaoqin took the medicine, he began to train. However, what made Xiaoqin a little helpless was that although the jade ring could provide spiritual energy for training, the spiritual energy was too little and could not be compared to before. Therefore he could not increase his speed. That night, Xiaoqin felt that he was getting closer and closer to that level. However, he was still a little bit away from it. He was only a little bit away from making a breakthrough, and he had even touched the edge. However, he just could not make a breakthrough in one go. Putting away the mental cultivation method, Xiaoqin was a little mad, but there was nothing he could do. After washing up, Xiaoqin ran in the direction of the morning market street. Maybe tomorrow or maybe the day after tomorrow, his days in the morning market street would come to an end. Tang Tang came very early as usual. She was packing things in the grocery store. It had been a few days since she opened the store. Everything had to be prepared again. Xiaoqin, you're here. Tang Tang's eyes were a little dark and bloodshot, as if she had not slept for a few days. And what's wrong with you? Didn't you rest well yesterday? Xiaoqin asked with concern. Last night, my grandfather called me and asked me to be with you, Xiaoqin. Tang Tang was a little depressed. She glanced at Xiaoqin. We can't sell fried dough sticks anymore in the future. Even if I want to, you Xiaoqin won't agree. Really? I think he will agree. Xiaoqin took a deep breath and thought of an idea. Anyway, he would drag it as long as he could. Are you going to blackmail him again? But, forget it. My grandfather has already come forward. If you blackmail him again, if the Tang family and the Yu family join forces to deal with you, then... Speaking of this, Tang couldn't help but be a little worried. Don't worry. I will find a balance, Xiao Qin said. That's good. Tang nodded. The two people packed the things. Tang sat behind the tricycle, and Xiao Qin rode to the morning market street. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.